Hey guys, in this video, I will go over a full run of Primalist leveling with the Shaman. Next patch, we have the option for Mastery Respec. So, if you want to follow a leveling run and see how it goes, this is a class that people say is the worst leveling class ever. And while I do agree, Primalist struggles in the first few levels, it's very smooth afterwards. It's going to be a play with me video. Just put this video on the side. I'm here live on Twitch. I'll be chatting with chat as well, answering questions and just chilling. So yeah, this is a Primalist leveling run. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy 1.2. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is, of course, we're gonna start with no filter. So I'll have the filter linked down below as well. I'm doing a loot filter test for this one as well. This is going to be testing for the new filters that we're gonna have on max roll for with every single planner. You'll be able to just click a button and it will import everything from the planner into the game. Yeah, you'll have like a baseline filter that you can then modify however you want if you want to modify it further. But that is what I'm going to be doing. First thing first, you got the wolf. I like just changing this wolf here because I like having my Fury Leap on Q, my movement ability. Summon your wolf. You can command your wolf with A, right? So the A key can tell your wolf to go wherever you want him to go or attack a specific enemy. So we're just going through. You'll see also how you do it so that you skip most of the quests and like you basically don't complete the campaign. If you are a new player, I do suggest that you complete a campaign at least once, just to, you know, have the experience of completing the campaign and killing Lagon in the campaign and dying to him, and, you know, the true Ellie experience. So here, I just don't really care about any of the monsters in the first zone. This is not going to be a speedrun. This is not going to be a speedrun, but I will ignore all of the parts that aren't really necessary for leveling, really. What am I thinking about starting in the next patch? It's going to be either Primalist or Sentinel. Either Primalist or Sentinel for sure. I think I'm going to start a Primalist. This is the first place where you have to kill these monsters to free up this guy, and then he follows you around and helps you. So very early, you are very weak, and so the best source of damage that you'll have is going to be having a weapon with chance to bleed, chance to poison, chance to ignite. You will want to find something like that to deal damage, because pretty much all of your other sources of damage are pretty mediocre.
Where'd you learn to fight?
So here we just rush this guy.
Quick, before it reaches town.
Then when you hit a monster like this, monsters like this, they have a chance of dropping a potion. So sometimes you can just face tank everything and he drops you many potions. But here I had to evade a little bit here. Okay, the first thing I'm looking for, the first few levels of your loot filter, you might want to show every single item on the ground, because you never know what might be good or not for you. And you really want to show as well movement speed items. Movement speed is not just good for going fast, it's really good at avoiding damage and just, like, you know, zooming past a certain ability on the ground or a certain monster that you don't want to fight. Very important when you get to town here. Get in here. Look if there's anything on the weapons that will give you any chance to bleed. Melee attack speed can also be pretty nice. Chance to bleed, you know, chance to poison. Here, I'm quite unlucky, and I do not have anything that has movement speed on it, like silver rings, for example. But there are some boots, you know, these boots will give me a little bit more movement speed. Also armor, lightning resistance. I'll grab this. I will probably grab 18 for crit. I'll grab this melee attack speed thing. Nothing much for me here, and I'll just use my gold for whatever else I can get.
Right.
My first few points are going to be going into attunement and resistances. And then the first skill I'm going to spec into will be Thorn Totems. There are other options for sure on Primalist, but the way I prefer doing it is with Thorn Totems. I want to make sure that I deal as much damage as possible while moving, so I don't have to stay in melee range and, you know, have a hard time with monsters. That being said, Thorn Totem is not the most damaging ability when you first start a Primalist. But in my opinion, it's the one that has the best quality of life. Which is not having to stay like next to monsters to actually deal damage. So in this area, before reaching the next area, you kind of want to be level 4. Because you really want to have your Thorn Totems for the next area. You wish Primalist would not be as tedious? It's only tedious really in the first few levels. Let's see here. Wand. So see here, I get my level 4 and I get my specialization slot. So now I got my Thorn Totem up. Every time that you summon your Thorn Totem, it automatically shoots a thorn from them without any delay. So this is actually quite nice. And here I am going to go into one node for the damage there. You can have 2 totems at first. You can then increase this limit with other skills, right? You can increase this limit, well, not with other skills, but with other points invested into the tree. So here, if you are struggling in this area, make sure that you kill every monster. This area can be pretty rough, and especially this boss. We are going into attunement again here. Your wolf's active ability will increase the attack and cast speed of everything else. So, you know, summon your 2 totems and then use your wolf's ability, and your totems will gain the benefits from increased cast speed. Yeah, this boss actually hurts quite a bit. Alright, we got what? Fury Leap, melee damage, mana regen. Good stuff. Chance to chill. Is the new Devouring Orb okay for leveling, or is it not? Frassidark, you know I cannot say anything, okay? Why are you trying to make me break my NDA all the time? Everyone is always trying to get city, but Frassidark is never stops. He never stops. Okay, you continue going into attunement. We're gonna max this node first, right? Warrior's Club. Like, it's really not that bad. I think, like, people are scared of leveling Primalist because they don't really know, like, how to do it properly. What I like to do here is I am going to go for the single Thorn because I'm focusing on Thorn Totem's damage. I'm going to go down this path to increase, to get the single Thorn's damage. And then I am going to go for this node here to regain mana. And this build eventually goes into Spriggan form with Storm Totem as well. So the build is basically going to be a Spriggan form, Storm Totem, and Thorn Totems. And it just levels very, very smoothly. You know, it is definitely not the best compared to other classes, but it does just fine. It does just fine. So in this area, what I like to do is check the shrines. They are very, very powerful, like this one exactly. Repeatedly throw shurikens at nearby enemies. This will just kill monsters while you are moving forward. And it's just makes the game very, very easy for these first few zones. Sometimes you don't find any good shrines. There are some even better ones. The best one is probably the one that gives you attunement and some storm bolts. There's a helm. Oh, I forgot to mention this, but health regen early on is extremely powerful. Okay, there's a lot of density here. I'm just gonna kill this guy. Another little tip for you guys is that if there is a rare enemy, he is guaranteed to drop a rare item. So if you're struggling with gear, first, make sure that you are finding gear with a loot filter. But the next thing is that if you kill a rare enemy, he is guaranteed to drop you a rare item. So that might be an upgrade for you very, very early on. And very like I'm quite unlucky here. I don't have anything great. Be sure to craft as well. Very often we got a health shard. Crafting is very much recommended early on. Crafting often is insanely powerful in last Epoch, since you have a deterministic way of crafting, right? Which is just adding regular affixes like this. You can put your items, you select the affixes, and you know, just craft. Always be crafting, basically. Of course, in a speedrunning scenarios, there are moments where you might want to check, you know, craft more or less on your gear, depending on your situation. But just for a general leveling guide, I really, really recommend checking the vendors for specific affixes that your build wants, and also crafting very, very often. I just want to see if there's like anything with bleed, anything with like... I am quite unlucky on these. Okay, we did not find anything really great. Cast speed, lightning damage, mana regen. There's really nothing for us. There's this. There's a little bit of attunement here. The rest is pretty bad. So what we're gonna do is in one of the next areas, there is a specific chest that drops you a spear. It's a personal item. Those are a little bit spread throughout Eteras, and they provide you like some very niche stats that you only find on personal items. The only one I really use during the story might be this first one, which gives you a decent chance. I think it's of igniting enemies on hit. Okay, here we swap to Eteras Blessing. The reason why we swap to Eteras Blessing is because Eteras Blessing essentially is a full potion on you, like even more than a full potion. It's just basically target is healed for 100 health, right? It's very, very powerful. We're still gonna make our way towards Titan's Bane here. Health on melee hit can be extremely powerful as well to sustain. Ooh, almost died. But these guys will drop you quite a bit of loot, right? That's why I like Thorn Totem. You just pop them wherever there's enemies, and then while you're going forward, they just kill stuff for you, right? And they keep killing stuff while you are no longer in the same screen. Although there's a certain limit to how far you can be before you don't receive any XP from it. The post is up. Okay, I will go ahead and check it out. All right, I'm gonna take a short break to make a video about the Hype Week Day 4 post, and I'll be back, guys. We're back. We're gonna continue leveling our Primalist. So what I was talking about here was the chest, the personal chest that we have here to the right. This one right here. This one will always drop where is it? Orion's Pike. This Orion's Pike always have spell fire damage, right? Especially on Primalist, pretty good if you're using Gathering Storm as your main spammable skill. It also has Ignite on hit. And then Gathering Storm has 2 hits, right? One is melee and one is the spell Storm Bolt that falls from the sky. So this one is just really, really strong. You know, early on, even not on the Primalist, just if you don't have a good weapon, just grab this one. It's always there. It's always the same. It's guaranteed, so you don't actually have to really look super hard for a good weapon for this boss fight here. I also like showing all items, like the first 10 levels or so. I might actually kill these guys. It's good XP. Just got more shards. I'm so used like speed leveling that I kind of want to skip everything here, but I will just do a slightly slower leveling process, but like, you know, act more like a normal player would play, which is killing monsters. Which is killing a few monsters on the way, right? That might be a pretty good idea. So now I got my level 8. I have my second skill specialized. The second skill that I actually want to specialize here will most likely be Swipe. But honestly, I'm not quite sure. I'm not even quite sure. Maybe I'll just go Fury Leap on this one. Like, the next thing that you really want to get to is going to be Spriggan Form. That doesn't come until later. And there is nothing really that crazy for the first few levels. You can get some bleed chance on Swipe. You can go into Gathering Storm and get more damage from this. But mainly what you want to get is buffing your Thorn Totems as well. So, yeah, I don't know. There's no real good option here. I will go into Gathering Storm for this one. I'll go for Attack Speed and Gathering Storm. But technically, there's nothing you really want here. Okay, we have all of our points in attunement.
Reaching me was impressive, but it's mine.
Do I have a living guide and tier list? No, but we're gonna have all of that tomorrow on the max roll. Oh yes, here if your wolf gets stuck basically behind this fake barrier. So if he is stuck there, change the skill on your bar so you unsummon him and you can resummon him afterwards. So we're just spawning totems, letting our wolf hit, our totems hit. We are also hitting a little bit. Using our wolf's active ability when we're summoning our both of our totems, right? Using a Terra's Blessing if you are in danger of dying. Eterra's Blessing can also provide 100% increased damage to some of your minions. So if you want to use Eterra's Blessing on one of your minions, you can also do so. So here I have this. I have a quiver. I am not going to pick up any uniques that I find during this leveling run. Because I don't want to showcase a run where I get good RNG. As you've seen, when I kill this boss, you don't have to talk to any NPCs. You can just go directly back to town and finish a quest here.
He's back. He's been...
You're back.
Do you get your side quest as you go, or just ignore it and then track back when you finish? The easy way is to just grab them as you go. That is the easy way. And that is the way I would recommend people to do it. You can check the vendor here for anything that would be available to you. So, totems are minions in this game, and they scale with attunement. Be sure to check the tags that you are scaling. So here we are scaling with minion, totem, attunement, and they deal physical and spell damage, right? So those are the things that you will be wanting to find for your gear. And here, I actually have a lot of shards that I picked up in the previous zone. So we can go ahead and check what we have a little bit here. I don't want any of this. This has minion damage, which is probably better than this for now. We've got some gloves. We've got some minion physical damage on this one, but also on this one. Fizz res. Physical res early on and void res are going to be two very important ones, since a lot of the monsters in this first area here will deal physical and void damage. So make sure to grab some of that. I'm gonna ignore this. Health on melee hit can be very, very good. Okay, we got Ignite and Bleed on this one. I might use, there's also, oh yes, Rune of Discovery. If you find a Rune of Discovery, this can be very, very useful to add affixes to a certain item that you want. So for example, if I have this one here that has nothing, and I use a Rune of Discovery, my item now becomes full of affixes, right? So, just insanely good for the early game. We've got minion damage on this one, but we already have minion damage. I'm going to keep this one to Shatter, maybe. Lightning res, armor, vitality, attunement. I'll grab this. I would like to get move and speed boots. That is probably the first thing that I will want to find. For the rest, let's just drop this on the ground.
What is this place? The spirits, they are in pain.
Alright, so in this zone, there's nothing really to do. You just go forward. Don't have to talk to any NPC or anything like that. You can safely skip this one.
And who are you?
I like the guaranteed tier 7 change for LP. It makes 1 LP items no longer bad, because currently 1 LP is fairly bad. Yeah, and like the changes to LP makes it so that the very rare items that you haven't defined with 1 LP are guaranteed to be good. You don't have to talk to this first NPC either. So here you might see me skipping quite a bit of monsters. No, you don't need that much XP. You don't need that much XP to be successful.
Stay safe.
But the more you kill, the easier time you'll have. Just make sure that you're not over the area level in terms of level that you are. If you press tab, right, you can see the area level at the top right here. If you are over the area level, I'd say you are probably over leveled for the zone. You're pretty much never supposed to be over the area level. that is if you want to be somewhat, you know, somewhat efficient in your leveling. Nothing stops you from doing so, though. Don't let me tell you how to play the game, okay? So just kill a few monsters. And you'll see that as soon as we unlock Storm Totem, this is gonna feel so, so good. So we got level 9. One thing we're gonna do here, we're gonna grab into Hunter's Restoration. Every 3 seconds.
What brings you here?
That node not only does it give you increased health, but also every 3 seconds, your next melee attack will heal you quite a bit. So this is a good source of your sustain early on, since you are kind of have to be melee at this point. You know, Gathering Storm is melee, Fury Leap is melee, Swipe is melee, Tempest Strike is melee, like even Maelstrom is melee. So you have to be in the melee. You are a Primalist, and that is kind of like the fantasy of the playstyle of it a little bit. At least in the early game. And Hunter's Restoration just gives you access to... How much is it? It's 8 per point invested every 3 seconds. So you can put 5 points in there. That's going to be a good chunk of your HP restored every 3 seconds. And just makes for a smoother leveling experience. Some prefer to go into damage. Sometimes I do go into damage. But for quality of life of leveling, I would really recommend going into that node. Here we're going to grab even more attack speed. Here you can see, like, if you use Ethera's Blessing, it just pretty much heals you completely. It takes a little bit of time for loot to drop from this guy. We didn't find really anything here. Okay, so once you get to the council chambers, with this build, there's one thing that I would like you to do, is you go to the vendor and you look for minion gear. If you find a weapon that has flat spell damage to minion, basically you win the game.
Yes.
You type in minion. Minion health is not really anything that we want to go for. There's another thing you can do. Also, regen. Regen is extremely good. We do not have any stats for regen. So there's nothing really for us in here. There's another silver ring that we're gonna grab. But the rest of the things, you know, you could go for physical res instead of health and fire damage. I think I'll grab the physical res. Let's do this. Let's craft a little bit on our rings. We're gonna grab some health. Maybe some attunement, maybe? Do we have anything else? We don't really. Okay, I'm not gonna craft any more on this one. And then we're gonna take this one. We're gonna give this one some, little bit of void res. Maybe a little bit of physical res. You know, just craft whatever you have, you know? Craft whatever you have. Maybe a bit of fire res. Stun chance, dodge rating. You know? Everything is good here. Health regen per second. Very good. But yeah, go ahead and look at what shards you have. There can be some shrines that drop you a lot of shards. That might be very good. Also, if you find any loot lizards, those are extremely good as well. 17 physical res and 3 vitality. That is a perfect idol. Absolutely crazy. 7 LA res. Wow. Both of these idols. Both of these idols are just absolutely crazy. So here, we're gonna put all the points into Hunter's Restoration. Now, you see that we've unlocked War Cry with the number of points that we have. War Cry is an option to use. It can be used as good CC or kind of like a panic button because I'll just showcase it here. It pushbacks enemies and stuns them. Here you take the ledger and then you can exit back through where you went, where you came from. Don't really have to kill these guys. But see, Warcry, boom, pushes them back, stuns them. Very good defensive option if you find yourself surrounded. But I kind of prefer Terra's Blessing. Just in case I'm out of potions. Always go look at the shrines. Shrines can be extremely valuable, as I said before. Cast Rib Blood, 20 int, damage leeches health. So a lot of these shrines are very underwhelming in the endgame, but for the leveling process, they are extremely valuable. Increase stun chance and stun duration. So this one is a rare monster. He always drops a rare item. This one was hidden from our loot filter, so nothing good for us. Also, if you happen to find a Nemesis, Nemesis are incredibly great for loot. They will drop you tier 7 sealed ally, like tier 7 legendary uniques. They can drop you basically gear that is impossible to find in the early game and provide you an insane power spike that might be useful all throughout even all the regular monoliths. So if you want to have an easier time, they can be quite challenging to kill at times, especially early on when you don't have a great build. But they provide some of the most powerful items that you can possibly find in the leveling section. So here again, I'm just spawning totems, getting my wolf to hit these monsters as well. Sometimes using Eterra's Blessing to buff my wolf, buff my totems. It does give them a 100% increased damage. Using my melee attacks with Gathering Storm to get some bleeds, to get some ignites. I mean, it's not the craziest damage, but it's very comfy. Just having totems is the comfiest skill for sure early on. It is targeted. You don't have to be in melee range, and yeah, it's just super comfy. It doesn't do much damage though. Very early, it doesn't do much damage, but that will come later on.
Penny, I please stop him.
You can go to this guy here.
What?
Because we've done the quest for it, he will drop you Avarice gloves, and then you'll be able to leech a little bit of health as well, depending on what type of gloves that you have. So for now, this gives you LA res as well. So very nice at getting some very early resistances. And something to keep in mind is that monsters only penetrate resistances based on the area level that you are in. This doesn't mean that you cannot go over this, but to get like the regular damage from monster, you want to be at least in an area level 11. You would want to have 11 resistances, right? So you can go above, but it is recommended to stay at least at the you know, as much resistances as the area level.
Gods be with you. Stay safe.
Here we can also check again in this shop. Is there something else? You check for minion stuff. You check for regen. There's nothing. The next points that we're going to go for here, in the Summon Thorn Totem, as I said, we go for the single projectile node. This increases your single target quite a bit, but also removes a lot of your AoE. So keep this in mind. If you want to wait a little bit, you can. I just always grab it here. And for here, I mean, we're going to be swapping this skill very, very quickly. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to be taking here. Let's go for... And let's go for more clear. Stormbolt chance on an additional enemy. And we are investing points in here. The next points that we're going to be taking are going to be... you have two options. You can go for either more damage or more survivability. I will go for the survivability for this run because I think this is going to help more players. But if you are, you know, brave, go for damage. You can go for damage. We drop gold. And we continue. Well, here I think I'm just gonna go to the end of this area here, get to fight the boss. Make sure to dodge roll out of those AoEs. And if your wolf finds himself on the ground, you can stand in the circle to revive him. Calamity. Okay, so what did we find? We found... Minion damage, spell damage, lightning res, freeze rate multi. This could be good. Ignite on hit, cast speed, fire damage. Minion health. Yeah, nothing really good here. I might save this for a shatter. Okay, so we do have one shatter here. I'm gonna try shattering this one. And crafting minion damage. On my ring. Boom. The very first affixes that you get for you know, minion damage and any damage stats, those are extremely efficient since you have barely any increased damage at the moment. So you know, the very first one you get kind of acts like a more multiplier, if you think about it that way. Like, the only reason why we think about increased damage as being less effective than a more multiplier on the tree or stuff like that is because the stat is so abundant that in the end game, it becomes way less worth it to stack it, right? But your first few affixes that you get, or your first few points in your passive tree, those are excessively valuable. Here, don't have to talk to this NPC either. In this area, it is very strong as again, as always, to go ahead and check for the shrines that are available in the area. If you find a shrine that casts Stormbolts, you basically win the game. Don't forget that you can command your totems and your wolf to attack a certain target if you want to with A. So if you are surrounded and there's only one that you really want to kill. I almost want to grab this for the minion damage, but you know, I said I was not going to grab any uniques or sets or anything, so I'm not going to do it. The shrines, they don't persist between zones. So even though there's a shrine here, I will not be grabbing it. Okay, give me 1 second. I need to do this. Boom, boom. Okay. So what did we find? We found physical res. 7% movement speed. Okay, I'll grab this instead. It is better movement speed. We got a minion damage belt. We might use that later on. And this is a two-hander. We can't use this. We're gonna grab, as I said, more health here. Now we've unlocked Storm Crows. I like to swap the Storm Crows. They are going to synergize a little bit better with... well, not really that they synergize a little bit better, but their active ability is kind of a nuke instead of just a buff. So it is more... I don't know, it's more satisfying to play with. If you did not know as well, if you plan on playing a Primalist up until the end game, the Stormcrow build, based on Crowstorm, is probably one of the very best Primalist builds you can play. Yeah, if not the best. Well, for damage, honestly, for damage. Yeah, which one is this? Attunement, minion damage. Ooh, this looks pretty good, no? This looks pretty good. Increase health regen. This doesn't look bad. Sometimes there's also a shrine in this area, which can be very, very satisfying to use. You keep it for until you unlock this boss. When he spawns, you pop it, and yeah, it can be kind of a free boss here. Okay, we got some good loot. Nothing. Is the Stormcrow build on max roll? It will be tomorrow. If everything goes well, tomorrow we'll have all the build guides updated. I really think Stormcrows is going to be one of the most popular builds. Look at this burst. Holy. Okay, we got some physical res boots with cooldown recovery speed as well. Vitality, attunement, or dex fizz, cooldown recovery speed. Let's grab this. Let's grab this.
Stay back.
Well, here again, we're melee attacking. Spawning totems, crows. Using a Terra's Blessing to give our minions 100% increased damage when we can. Alright, we've got minion damage belt, cooldown recovery, physical res. I do want to go into minion damage eventually, so let's go like this. So after killing this boss, this is where you unlock your mastery, and now the build really starts popping off. These first 12 levels, those are the levels that people dislike when leveling a Primalist. But, you know, if you just go for Thorn Totems, that's literally the only skill that you need. You're pretty good. You can go for anything else. Like, you don't even need any skill, realistically. But Thorn Totem is just nice because you can just spawn them on your mouse cursor. And, they just do the job. But now you unlock Storm Totem. You confirm this. You confirm this. Basically, I use it on my right click. I stop using Gathering Storm entirely. You despecialize, and then you go into Storm Totem. Storm Totem can be used in a few ways. If you are speed running, you might want to go into the movement speed here. You can get up to 40% movement speed. But since we are going to use this in combination also with Gathering Storm eventually, we are going to go into the totems here, into the Thunder Totem, which will consume our Thorn Totems and make it deal even more damage. And then we're going to go into the Gathering Storm tree as well. So this is one of the only skill that can scale with 2 different trees. It can also scale with Gathering Storm. Gathering Storm, the big advantage here is that you can use this and you get access to even more multipliers. Not only the ones that you have here, but the ones that you have on 2 different trees. So it makes it very, very, very strong. So the first few points that you will grab though are going to be into the cast speed. You want to maximize this one, and then we'll go down here. So that's what we will do. Am I decided on my starter? I am not decided on my starter. Maybe Primalist. I don't know. Maybe Primalist. Maybe Sentinel. I don't know. Okay, so we're back in town.
Why are you
We talked to this NPC, and then we also talked to this NPC.
Yes.
We check for minion stuff. Nothing. Regen stuff. We got some mana regen and some increased health regen. Not really. You can always check if there's anything else for you. But really what we would have wanted to see would have been flat spell damage for minions on any weapon, basically. That is the most important stat that you want to get if you want to scale your damage. Spoiler, I start Lich. I am definitely not starting Lich. I am not much of an Acolyte player. I mean, Primalist is tempting, but it's a Sentinel patch as well, you know. So many things change with Sentinel. Okay, here, what you want to do, you press Storm Totem, and you win. Boom. You can also press Storm Totem, and then buff it with Eterra's Blessing, right? So you make it a little bit bigger, and it gets 100% increased damage, which is a massive buff for this early in the game. It equals to almost like two tier 5 affixes, which you definitely do not have at the moment. You don't have access to those things. So yeah, it's just smooth sailing from now on. I roleplay Lich on every other character. Always dead. Oh my goodness. Am I always dead? Okay, I'm gonna try on this run to not die, okay? I'm taking my time on this run, you know? This is an actual guide to how to level the worst class that people dislike the most. I don't know why, but I really enjoy leveling this. I really enjoy leveling this. Okay, next points we're gonna go for are gonna be maximum Thorn Totem here and the mana gain node up here. Living Seed. Living Seed. Living Seed. Health regen for minions. Minion damage leech. Yeah, not very good. So basically, I'm not even wasting time like summoning Thorn Totem right now. I'm just using Storm Totem. Storm Totem alone, without any gear, without anything, is amazing. And like I said before, if you gather some shards, make sure to use them sometimes, you know? Oh, we can get a little bit more Fizz Res here. What else can I get? I can get a little bit of health. Boom, boom. Some health, some Fizz Res. What can I get here? I can get some movement speed. Dexterity is equal to dodge. Physical res is amazing. You know, what can you get here? This is the type of thing that I don't do in a speed run, and that gets me killed. But in a run where you are just leveling for fun, or for a guide like this, you know, hey, craft on your items, guys, you know? Even if it's dodge rating, something, strength gives you percentage armor, not bad, you know? Mana, I don't really need mana, though. I mean, even if you don't need mana, why would you not upgrade it, right? Maybe because you lose forging potential. Ego strength. Lighting res. Don't have much here, though. I mean, why not? Chance to ignite. Boom. Actually, I don't even have a melee ability on my bar. that wasn't that great, but you know. And here you can see Storm Totem. Absolutely amazing for leveling. Boom, boom. Storm Totem, Etero's Blessing. Win the game. You need a little burst of something? Boom. You burst them with the crows as well. Burst with the crows. Boom. I mean, I get that this is not to the level of maybe Sentinel leveling. Sentinel leveling is just so good. But I really don't feel like it's as bad as people make it seem to be. Like... You just walk, you know? You take your time, Walk, jump, Storm Totem. It's terrible. How is this terrible? This is so good, no? You just put your totem up and like... They do everything. They do everything. Until it could be a bear? Yeah, that's because you chose you chose Druid. But even on other classes... Of course you don't have Storm Totem, which is just amazing at this point. But, you can level with totems on any druid class. But season 2 brings mastery respecs, which completely removes all of the friction of leveling with a bad mastery. Boom, little burst. Here we go. What do we get here? Something good. How early do I get to become a Javazon with the Sentinel? Very early, actually. If you want to use Javelin, you can do so very early. Okay. What did we find, guys? We found some Fizz Res. Don't really need this. Summon Thorn Totem. Okay, +1 to summon Thorn Totem. Pretty good. Minion Attunement. You know, increase health regen. I'm just gonna... Yeah, remove this. Okay, we can get minion damage. Lighting fire res. This is 20, this is 10. I'm gonna grab the one that has more minion damage. Even though I lose a little bit of resistances here and stuff. There is another vendor here. Make sure to check this guy. Again. Minion. What do we have? Physical damage. Minion damage, mana regen. This is... Yeah, not that great. I'm gonna grab some of these. And... I'll grab some minion shards. Some minion shards. Stats on amulets and body armors are of higher value than other pieces of gear that you have. So if you want to get even more value out of your every single shard of minion damage, yes, I'm doing a leveling run. No. This is the build guide. This is the leveling guide. How to have a good time on Primalist. You won't see me dying here, okay? You will not see me dying here, okay? This is how to enjoy Primalist. Oh, you see? You see a shrine? You go and grab it. Boom. Cast Rib Blood at enemies. Level 15. See, all you do, you cast Storm Totem, and you keep moving. Easy peasy. Storm Totem, Eterra's Blessing, you keep moving. Storm Totem, Eterra's Blessing, everything dies. Look how this is good. Storm Totem, Thorn Totem, Crows, boom, 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 dead. Like, how good is this, guys? It's the easiest fight of your life. Here you have to go back to this place, grab the symbol, boom, boom. Essentially, we can't say anything about what's coming in the next patch. Like, until the patch notes are live and like until everything is live, we can't talk about it. So the last point here is pretty open-ended. I personally quite like to grab this one for damage. Very often I don't even grab this. But you could also go for minion damage and % potion healing received by your minions, so that every time that you use a potion, you can like save one of your totem or your crows or something like that. But I will go here. Then that is 20 points into your initial Primalist passive tree. The next thing you want to unlock as fast as possible is going to be Spriggan Form. Spriggan Form will bring this build to the next level, enabling you to cast healing totems, which heal you on every so often. And they also will use the Thorn Totems tree, which will cast these the thorns, the single thorns, and they will refill your rage. So you'll be able to stay permanently in Spriggan Form and refill your rage and get your Thorn Totems that kill enemies and heal you as well. When you want to get a big burst of damage, you swap back to human form, you cast your Storm Totem does a lot of damage, you cast your human form totems. You guys will see this later in the video, but it is just buttery smooth, walk in the park. Forms, yeah, it is a form switching build until you get the relic that makes you proc Storm Totem in Spriggan Form. It is a form switching build. It is a form switching build. At least the early levels. Man, how smooth is this though? You just move forward, guys. You just move forward. That's all you do. And the mechanics of Storm Totem makes it so that you will gain so much XP while moving forward without having to stop for every single pack of monsters, that you will be over leveled compared to many other builds, many other leveling builds. Very hyped for next season, Splatok. Very hyped. I think it's gonna be amazing. going to be an amazing season. Also, a little trick. Your Thorn Totems, they grab aggro much more than your Storm Totem. So if you want to have some breathing room, you can just spawn a Thorn Totem in front of a monster, and they will most likely attack the totem instead of attacking you. Again, you can also press A on your keyboard, or whatever your keybind is for your minion key, to tell them to attack a certain monster if you want. This is especially good for Thorn Totems, right? Or your crows. Okay, so the next point we're gonna go for here, since we maximize the cast speed, and we're gonna try to go down here to get the thunder totem now, because we don't have enough skill slots to immediately use Gathering Storm. This is gonna provide a lot of damage for Storm Totem. Now after here, we're still going towards getting the mana gain per point, and this also allows us to get more Thorn Totems out, which also will give you more healing totems when you will be in Spriggan form, which we'll see a little bit later. Like, this build is very, very similar to what I did a few patches ago, where I had a Shaman leveling guide as well. But it does way more single target damage. Yeah, you can't direct totems because they are minions. Yeah, they are minions. I was watching a video yesterday, and someone was mentioning, in last Epoch, you cannot tell your minions to do, you know, you cannot tell your minions to go somewhere. And he was dying with crows in... He had his crows dying in the Aberoth fight. But essentially, I mean, it's just that he did not know that you can. And this has been a thing since forever, basically. The default key is A on the keyboard. Yeah, I go with crows instead of wolf because I do like their little burst damage that they provide rather than passive buff. See, very, very safe playstyle. Very safe playstyle. The best thing about Storm Totem is that it has pretty good AoE, it has pretty good range, pretty good damage, automatically targets. You can spawn it at your cursor location. So here, as I said, after the 20 points in Primalist, you are going into the Druid section here. Here, there's a few things you can go for. Endurance and armor, or health and mana. I like going for endurance and armor. Then again, you know, up to you. Armor is extremely good. Armor is better. The earlier you grab armor, the better it is. Because the zone that you are in will affect how much DR you get from armor, right? So right now, I am mitigating 18% of physical damage and 13% of non-phys. So armor can be very, very effective against hits. I am not gonna grab this lizard. I mean, I did say that you should be killing all the lizards and stuff, but I don't want the run to be tainted by too good RNG, right? So I'm just not gonna kill any lizard, basically. I will show what you can get in the Nemesis, but I will not be killing any of the... I will not be using any of those items. But I will show what you could be getting. Why is this the worst leveling class? People really don't like the first, like, 12 levels. Well, it's the worst. It's the worst leveling class because it's just the worst. It starts really slow and then it gets to a point where it's not necessarily better than any of the other classes. You know, Acolyte has Warlock with Tectonic Fissure. Sentinel has Holy Trail leveling with automatic healing and, you know, great damage, Judgment. Falconer is just a breeze. You have Shadow Daggers. It's just... all the other classes are so good that this feels like the worst leveling class, even though, you know, you just spawn your totem, boom, buff it. They do the work for you, you know? I think maybe people are over-exaggerating a little bit. Just a tiny bit. They might be over-exaggerating a tiny bit. Okay, so still points. Endurance armor. No points here. At level 20 in 3 levels, we unlock our 3rd specialization slot, which is going to be Spriggan Form. And Spriggan Form not only does all the things that I talked about earlier, but also you have a skill, like your entire skill bar changes, and you get access to new skills. One of those, here just talk to the book, you don't really have to kill anything else. Then you can go back to Ancient Hunt. One of those skills is Summon Vines. Summon Vines poison early on. And they are just amazing at increasing your damage super early. Because elements in Last Epoch, if you did not know, they have a base damage of their own, and you can stack elements an infinite number of times. Most of them, like the basic elements, right? Like bleed, poison, frostbites. If you are wondering what a certain element do or does, type in poison in the game guide, which you open by pressing G on your keyboard. Poison, right? The first 30 stacks reduce targets poison res. They each deal 28 damage over a 3-second duration, blah, blah, blah. You can do this for anything else, right? Bleed is really good early. It has a 53 base damage. So, basically, elements early on are excessively strong. That is also why we were filtering for stuff like bleed chance, poison chance in the first chapter of the game. And why we actually grab the personal weapon for the ignite chance. Okay, one more level. We continue going towards this node here, Thunder Totem. These guys bleed on hit, so be excessively careful. You saw me like grabbing a you know, kind of like training them behind me. If you are somewhat scared of dying or in hardcore, I would really recommend just killing them all, because the bleeds that they deal, you know, bleed has a lot of base damage for you, but also for them. So bleed is very dangerous early on, especially if you don't have a way of cleansing elements. So just spawning storm totems, thorn totems. All right. More points here. We have unlocked Spriggan form, but we are not yet level 20. So we're going to wait a little bit here. Minion damage, physical res. That is not that great. So after killing this dragon, you can go back to the Ruined Era and in the council chambers, turn in the quest.
Greetings.
Boom, you get +2 idol slots. Now, the idols that this guy dropped you at the beginning, he always drops 2, right? One of the Stout Lagonian ones and the Humble ones. Now you can equip your second one. Early on, idols are pretty scarce. They are very hard to get by. So yeah. Try to keep the second one that he has, so you can equip it once you unlock your idol slots. Now, we are back here. What we're gonna do? Type minion. Oh, we don't have anything. Regen. Have anything here? Increased regen. It's not worth over 13 of all Ellie res. And we got this. Okay, so we did not find really anything that is good for us. But we're gonna go and craft a little. Oh, also I forgot to mention this. You have this little gambler here. If you want to test your luck and you have a little bit of gold. I mean, it does cost quite a bit of gold though, because early on you don't have that much. But you can definitely just come here, gamble something, you know, maybe you get lucky.
Looks powerful.
We got health on kill. So don't need this. But you can gamble some items, whether it is you want to get a nicer base for a certain item. You know, if you need some movement speed rings, if you need you know, health amulet or something like that, you can go ahead and gamble. Okay, what do we have? We have minion damage. Gathering Storm. Okay, this might be actually nice. This is more armor, flat health regen, lightning, and necrotic. I think I really like this. I think I like this. I like this. Necrotic res. Boom. The rest of the stuff ain't that great. So we'll go back to the Ruined Era and Shattered Valley and continue towards the end of this chapter. You love the set it and forget it builds like Falcon or Ballista. This was cool. It probably sucks in endgame. No, not at all. I mean, obviously it's not as powerful as Ballista. Yeah, you know, compare one of the hardest hitting build in the entire game to this, of course, but no, this is like, I mean, okay, currently, if we're talking about season 1.1, Storm Totem is probably one of the hardest hitting abilities, because you can use it in combination with Upheaval Totem. We'll have to see if they nerf anything about that interaction in season 2. But yeah, we'll have to wait. We're getting patch notes tomorrow. We're getting patch notes tomorrow. Yes, gonna have to wait and see. Yeah. Exactly. We'll have to wait. But Snap, maybe you can see how easy it is to level a Primalist, you know? kind of making fun of Digital. Holy Digital. I actually thought about you today because I went and I went on the website. I was like, man, I need to go talk to Digital. Surely the infinite damage thing doesn't get nerfed, guys. Surely. Hey, thank you so much. Thank 21 months digital. Have you seen the new sub badges? Ballistas, you know? Almost 2 years, pretty crazy. Hope you've been doing well, man. Okay, the next point you're grabbing here, mana gain. When you unsummon a totem, so that when a totem dies, that will give you mana. And when you unsummon a totem, or like when a totem is unsummoned, which means that if you go over the limit of totems that you can have, that totem, that is when it's considered unsummoned. So that in combination with Spriggan form will make it so that because in Spriggan form you can sustain your totems infinitely. They give you back rage as well. Well, that's going to give you back the rage, right? Like going over the limit. Because in Spriggan form, you will summon 3 totems at once at all times. Oh, actually, even without having this spec, you want to spec it. You want to spec it like this. Because as I said, with the poison vines, right? You can just spawn the vines. And then transform back to human form, and then spawn your regular totems and your storm totems. I bet Bina already watched the quality of life updates. Yes, and it's already on YouTube. Yep. Okay, so Spriggan form. The next thing you'll want to do is unlock Summon Spriggan as fast as possible. Since your Summon Spriggan will give you not only 15 flat spell damage for your totems. So it's going to be for the vines, for your Thorn Totem, your Storm Totem. But also it's going to give you 72% critical strike avoidance, good defensively. And 8% base crit chance for every ally, basically. So that is another very, very powerful support.
The spirits, Etera, they left this place long ago.
And so now you can see these little totems there. Those are healing totems. And so over they sort of have a cycle once you get them to shoot thorns as well. Where they will shoot a couple of thorns and every so often they will heal you. And the healing they provide is actually very, very strong early. I think I'm just going to remove crows here. I'm going to remove crows and go like this. Because I still want to buff my Storm Totem with 100% increased damage. So here we go here for more damage. And then we finally spec Spriggan form. In Spriggan form, you want to go rush these nodes down here. Always summon 3 totems and healing totem cast thorns. That is your main priority. Do we know at what time the cycle 2 starts? EHG is called 11 hours game. Holy digital. Thank you so much for the subs, man. 5 gifteds. Usually EHG is called 11-hour games and releases they release patches at the 11th hour of the day. Usually. Digital, thank you so much, man. Shotter, Cookbook, Breacher, Chlorophyll, Cephakis, welcome, guys. And Kalindros, thank you so much for the Prime sub too, man. Yeah, it's 11 CST. Yeah. It should be 11 CST. That's usually when that happens. Okay, we need to talk about this. Let's just kill some monsters. Let's make sure that we won't die. I want a deathless run here, okay? I want a deathless run. If you want to farm some XP, this area is insanely good for farming XP. If you need it. Okay, so the next thing you want to unlock is Summon Spriggan. So here you again have a few options. You can go for Attunement and Strength. You get a little bit of increased damage. You get a little bit of increased armor. And you get the bonus attributes here. You can maximize this one. You can go for health and mana. But what I like to do, since we are both physical with our Thorn Totems, we are also poison with our Spriggan form. This node here early on gives you increased minion fizz and increased minion poison damage. I just really like this node. It's 7%. So we're just gonna go here. And we need to invest some points to get into Summon Spriggan. So that's what we're gonna do. So again, like every single point in Storm Totem is so valuable. If you would find something like plus level of Storm Totem here, that would be so good. Since all the, like, there's only a few levels that don't provide more multipliers in it. So you do get to feel a big power spike with every point invested. Yeah, patch notes drop tomorrow, digital, and then a new season next week. On the 17th. And then here, after unlocking this quest, there's a little trick you can do. Instead of going back and traveling all the way back, I just travel back to another waypoint, and then we go back to the Lotus Halls. This is going to bring us directly at the waypoint, and we can go for the boss fight. So here, again, boom. Healing totems cast thorns. So that lets us have even more thorn totems in Spriggan form. So you can stack those, right? Because the healing totems that you summon while in Spriggan form, those are not considered thorn totems, even though they cast the thorns. So you can have all of your human form totems, plus your storm totem, plus all of your totems in Spriggan form, plus all of your vines. That just makes so many minions on top of having eventually your summon Spriggan. It just makes for a very easy leveling portion of the game. And then your healing totems heal you, so that covers all of your healing needs. That's your sustain. Then there's even another little trick that I've discovered after I don't know how many, you know. I'm really surprised that I haven't discovered this before, since I played so many hours of totems. But if you invest into all of the nodes for okay, let's raise. I just want to die. Don't want to die here. Man, I'm so tanky though. What? I am so tanky. Crafting on gear, guys. Crafting on gear. Don't underestimate it. Oh, did I forget to tell you that you get absolutely free resistances when you are a shaman? Because when you are a shaman, you get 50 LA res when you control the totem, which you always have. And eventually, you will even get this node here. Physical res per active totem, and LA res, and totem all res. So that makes you not have to worry about fire, lightning, cold, or physical res. You know, it's just very easy gearing. Okay. Let's grab the loot. I was talking about the little trick that I was doing with the totems. The thing is that the cast speed here is the minus cast speed. I believe this to not... I need to test this a little bit further. But I believe this does not reduce the cast speed of the actual totem. Just your cast speed when you are casting the totem. And so this makes it so that it lowers your cast speed enough that if you don't have any cast speed on your gear, when you are summoning your healing totems, you summon them slow enough that they will always heal you even when you're holding the key. That makes your healing from healing totems super consistent. Although, you need to build into totem cast speed on idols, maybe on body armor and in other places. So it's striking a balance between your totem's cast speed and your own cast speed, but that is like an end game trick. I just wanted to mention it here. Okay, so here we have the Nemesis. Again, these can be insanely good. This is a crazy unique for leveling Arboreal Circuit. It can roll up to 18% movement speed, and now we got one with 16, which is very close to perfect. And then if we do Empower, if we empower this spawn the Nemesis. You kill this Nemesis, right? With this worst leveling build in last Epoch. And then the next time you encounter it, he will have the items upgraded. You can then upgrade them again. You can do this 2 times before you kill it the last time, and then he drops all the items and basically provide you with very insane loot. You can be lucky, get like a Firestarter's Torch, you can get like some crazy leveling uniques. You could even get, you know, on the uniques, he could even add an affix that is exalted, which is not available at this moment in the game. Okay, so what you do here, Thorn Totem, Storm Totem, Transform, some more healing totems, some vines. You transform back again, you know? I don't know why people dislike this. This is so good. Was that hard? Was that long? Was that, you know? I think that was pretty good. I think that was pretty good. I mean, sometimes I showcase it pretty poorly because I am speedrunning, but if you just play normally and you pick up a little bit of loot, you know, you'll have a good time. Okay, so this we have... What did we find here? We have Summon Thorn Totems, so we're gonna grab this. We have +1 level. We're gonna go here. What else did we find? We found 194 armor. No matter what it is, I will equip this. Look at the difference between the DR that you get. Really? I think it is so worth it. Actually, you know what? I don't know. This has a lot of necrotic res. What can we craft on this? Can we craft something here? Can we craft something here? I kind of want to have health. I kind of prefer having health here. Health regen. Boom, boom. Is there anything else that we got? We got some health regen per second. I am going to dismantle this. Maybe add some more health regen per second here. Int move speed. Maybe grab some move speed from this. Health, armor, int, move speed. Wait, this is good. Kind of like this. Be on the lookout for good implicits as well, right? If you find anything with a good implicit, like a big endurance, big armor roll or something like this, right? I'm just gonna keep a little bit of necrotic res just in case I want to slam it on something. More health, boom, right? Attunement. Attunement is damage. Attunement will also be damage for Gathering Storm eventually. Fizz res. Okay, now you also have another gambler here. Same gambler as we had in the other area, but now he has access to more items. The gambler keeps unlocking items as you progress. So yeah, if you're looking for a better base, or if you're looking for just have an item that is really bad, you can always go and see the gambler. This man likes totems and snapshot. Imagine if he liked the minion too. Have I become the minion main? I am, surprisingly enough, I am not a minion enjoyer. I am not a minion enjoyer. Minions is not my passion. I am not the Gazi of last Epoch, okay? I am the enjoyer of things that are good. If it happens to be minions, I mean, so be it. Actually, I am more of a ballista type of thing enjoyer. Like totems, ballista, stuff that you summon at your cursor and they attack for you. Definitely something that I like. Now, there's another vendor here.
Yes.
You can also do this, right? Minion. Anything here? No. Not really. Not really, unfortunately. So, this is with the worst possible setup that you could have is what I have. Since my weapon, this is basically... I am basically unarmed right now. I am basically unarmed. Minion. Okay, we have this. We have 2 affixes here. So we could actually find a weapon. Maybe a... At this point in the game, you can also have bearded axe, I believe. But I'm not going to waste too much time. Just go with this. Minion spell and bow damage. We're going to craft this. And we got minion melee and spell damage. We're going to craft this. So we have this on a 2-hander to make the best use of the stats. And now we get a little bit more spell damage for our minions, which is going to adapt to the type of the spells that they're casting. So it's going to provide physical damage for our Thorn Totem and also lightning damage for our Storm Totem. So here we're going to go for even more mana gain. Here we're going to go for additional totems and always summoning 3 totems at once. Don't have to talk to these NPCs. I am the Palstron, the Ballista enjoyer. Surprisingly enough, when Palstron came and played Elite, he actually we actually played the same thing. The patch where he played quite a bit was the patch where he played Explosive Ballista, and I played Explosive Ballista as well. Surprisingly, surprise. So this is yeah, this is pretty much it. Now you have the full build kind of enabled, although we do not have the rage sustain yet in Spriggan form, so we cannot stay fully in Spriggan form until we have 3 or 4 points invested into Memories of Etera. But that will come soon enough. But you don't really need it right now, since you can just spam also Storm Totem in human form. Have an extra point. We're working towards Thunder Totem. We're gonna put another one here. So this area is an area where there's a little bit of a power spike for enemies. They become much tankier and they hurt much more. But still, pretty much a walk in the park, right? Like, don't focus too much time on killing the you know, for example, this guy, like, you know, he has so much health, 2 ward bars, like, okay, I'm just gonna skip. You don't need it. You kill the enemies that die instantly, basically. Do we trust the 3 to 4 months cycle going forward? No? I don't know, man. I'd be... That is one thing which I would be surprised if that happens, but we'll see. So you see now with 3 points invested, you fully sustain rage. If you just want to stay in Spriggan form forever, you can. And so you spawn those totems every once in a while. And then as you get close to them, they will heal you as well. Alright? Right now, they do much less damage than Storm Totem. So, I prefer swapping back and forth between human and Spriggan. You can be in Spriggan form when you are sort of scared of what's around you. And eventually, you also get a lot of armor when you are in Spriggan form. So not only do you get the healing, but after these points, we're going to invest all points into getting more armor. Which is going to give us a lot more survivability. And then you can also invest points for a second Spriggan. So you have 2 Spriggan giving you twice as much of their healing when they're around you. Because your Spriggan companion also heals you. So I'm casting everything here, my vines, my totems, in human form, in Spriggan form. It's just really easy. Also, your vines spawn in groups of 3 as well, and at your cursor location. No, I left Ellie a bit after faction came out. Don't need to go into why, but has all of your issues been resolved? Ellie definitely is back on track for success. I was kind of disappointed with the cycle refresh where they basically restarted the cycle and did not do any balance change. I was really disappointed with that one. And from all of the things that they have spoiled so far, and how the new season looks, I think they have redeemed themselves. It is yet to see if they can do it every 3 to 4 months. Like, but yes. I do think that EHG has redeemed themselves. They have been cooking some really good stuff, you know. Good food is on the menu, guys. Why did they restart the cycle without any changes? There was some dupes. There were some dupes. They did not have time to, I guess... They did not want to deliver another cycle. Well, they're calling it seasons now, but... They did not want to deliver a season where... It would have been an underwhelming season, basically. With maybe like half of the content that we have right now. They preferred waiting a little bit longer and, you know, trying to fit in as much as possible into the... There was also, I think, PoE 2. PoE 2 was coming out. So, a lot of the hype around it would have been diluted. I think those are the main reasons. You know, I don't know everything behind the scenes, what's going on. They added loot lizards and shrines. Yeah, for me, that's not really anything. That is not content. That is not content. Yeah, the trailer for season 2 has like 3 million views or something like that. It's going to be pretty popular, I think. Yeah, loot lizards are yeah, goblins, yeah. I want Storm Totem to be S tier in speed farming endgame. I mean, it kind of depends where you farm, right? You can definitely build it for it. You can certainly build it for speed farming. You have 40% movement speed on the tree as well. Okay, again, just spawning everything. Making sure everything is well. Okay. Poison res, don't want this. Don't want this. Don't want this. Frailty on hit could be pretty good. I'm gonna keep... yeah, I'm gonna keep some shards. I'm gonna keep some shards. Crit strike multi, we don't need this. Health regen. I'll grab some shards of health regen as well. Health regen is so good during the campaign as a source of recovery, since you, especially on a build like this, where you're not dealing damage yourself, it's your minions that are dealing damage. It can be very, very, very strong. Because you need some sort of recovery. You have your healing totems and your Spriggans, but, you know, sometimes having a little bit of extra is good. Now we are going to go into... Oh, this is because I removed my helmet. And this we're going to go into here. So even more totems. So the more totems that you have, the more they act as a multiplier of damage, right? You could also go into Rage Decay. You don't really need it though, since, like, you know, when you are transformed, you do gain all of your rage back. In the passive tree, we are still going towards getting Summon Spriggan. I don't know, guys, but like so far, this doesn't feel bad at all for leveling. Don't forget to stay hydrated while blasting. Except unlike Diablo Goblins, loot lizards are colored, so yellow drop legend, uniques, green drop sets, blue drop idols, yeah. So you can either stay in human form and spawn your Storm Totem, which does more damage than Thorn Totems for sure. But you can also just stay in Spriggan form forever. Get the healing, make sure that you're not dying, and they still do respectable damage. You know, they still do respectable damage. Like if you just take your time a little bit, you know. Do I think this build would be good in Season 2? There is no reason why this wouldn't be good in Season 2. Nothing that it utilizes is at risk of nerfs. The thing that is at risk is not Storm Totem itself, it is Upheaval. Like, this effect can stack an unlimited amount of times. That is what is at risk. So this area can be somewhat dangerous. If you want to stay in a Spriggan form, you know, feel free to do so. So that you get the healing all the time. I kind of like going a little bit faster. No, I feel very, very safe with this build. And the best part is that you could play this build without any gear whatsoever, and it would still deal a respectable amount of damage, especially for no gear invested at all. Like, for the vast majority of the first portion of this video, I was using Storm Totem for damage with actually nothing for my totems on my weapon. So here I'm just gonna finish maxing out this one for endurance, and then we're gonna go into the Spriggan node. So do you only ever use the totems on this? Right now, well, the build revolves around totems. Eventually, you get access to a relic, which you can proc Storm Totem off of your, off of this, what is it called? Spirit Thorns. Off of Spirit Thorns, off of your own hits. So you can proc it, so you can permanently stay in this form. And then when you have like a single target enemy that you want to fight, you can proc Storm Totem without going in human form. So you keep all the benefits from being in Spriggan. Or you could still forms like, you know, transform, get your humans totems out, get, you know, manually cast storm totem as well. I want to get into hardcore just now. Now, just like in PoE, would you recommend a Tornado Shaman or Bleed Hammerden better for fresh launch? Between the two, probably Bleed Hammers. Bleed Hammers between the two. I mean, both are good. I would play both, honestly. Tornado Shaman, you just, like, nothing moves. Bleed Hammerden, very tanky, 100% block, good leech. But even better, Judgment. Judgment Paladin. Just, you are almost immortal. Holy. Another sub? Thank you so much, Digital Man. Yeah, well, I mean, have a look. Wait for tomorrow, I guess. I know it's not nice to hear. It's not what everyone wants to hear, but I think you guys should just wait for tomorrow. Wait for after the patch notes, and then we will most likely be able to update all guides on max roll. So wait for the patch notes, I'd say. Just want to do some practice. Leveling with okay, so if you want to do some practice, you can practice with, I would honestly go Paladin, Holy Trail, and Melee Judgment. Yeah, we should have all the planners updated as well. So we will be able to mess around with planners tomorrow on stream with all of the new information, and everything's new. Everything new from the patch. Don't look at the Judgment build currently on max roll. That is not going to be it. That is not going to be it. Yeah, not that one. So here again, a little trick with this fight is if you stay close, he basically has only a few attacks that he can do, and you're not getting hit by any of these lightning bolts that he spawns. So it's kind of nice to stay close if you can take a hit, right? Like, if you just spend a little bit of time working on gear, it is, like, almost impossible to die. Which I usually never do when I'm in speedruns. That is why I die. But if you just spend a tiny bit of time crafting, you know, you'll be good. Holy! Tiger! With a 5 gifteds again!
But I enjoyed that.
You guys are on fire today. Okay, this area, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it, honestly. Now, the thing that happens with this is you have enough mana sustain. You can either go for more damage, armor shred, or even a pierce chance. I wonder if this is gonna be in the video. I don't know if I have this audio in the in my track actually. But thank you so much, man. Okay, so yeah, summon thorn totems can also shred armor, and so since most of our damage comes from storm totem, that is where we're gonna go. It's not the only option you can do, but it's the option that I think is best. So I want to put 1 more point here, 2 points here, and then we're gonna go for the armor shred. That is gonna be our source of armor shred before we can get access to Drora gloves that could get armor shred for our minions. In here, we're gonna max this one out, and then we're gonna go for the armor and increased armor. Here, we're gonna max this. How is Totem Pop? I have not fully tested Totem Pop. Last time I've tested them, it was worse than, well, okay. It was... Basically, there was no reason to go full Totem Pop because, the best Totem Pop version would have been a hybrid between the single thorns and Totem Pop, basically. So you could do that and have slightly more damage than just regular Thorn Totems. Although I did not test them again after they nerfed the cast speed of Thorn Totems here. But Storm Totem is just like vastly superior. That I might be interested in testing it again. Since I have like better ways of testing now than before. But I don't think it's a major difference. I think they're still fine. They're still fine. If you want to play like this. It's just that Totem Pop has a targeted thing where you have to basically target directly on your mouse. Whereas this specific version has automatic targeting and most likely much better damage. So I don't see the real reason why I would play Totem Pop. This is another thing that we are trying to do as well. We're trying to move away from having multiple different builds that have the same playstyle. And, same playstyle with like, you know, like some slight differences here and there. We're just going to be having the best builds of each category, basically. Okay, so, okay, yeah. This area, guys, very, very, very dangerous. Poisons on hit, these scorpions. These guys don't mess around. If you don't have any poison res, so like right now I don't have poison res. I did a mistake. I should have as soon as I enter this area, go through my gear and look if I can craft some poison res somewhere, right? I have poison res here. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna be crafting poison res. You really, really want poison res, especially because poison stacks lowers your poison res, so you want even more than you're supposed to have here. Either that, a good source of recovery, health regen, something to survive, right? Because you're gonna have a really, really bad time if you don't. So let's see. Can I get something here? Don't really have anything great. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. We can't talk about next patch, guys. We cannot talk about next patch yet. What is going to be the best build of the next patch? Well, guys, we still don't have patch notes. What? Bina, I expect you to tell us everything before the patch notes. DM me all the leaks. My best guess, guys, my best guess is that this build is going to be #1 and that build #2. I mean, can't really talk about a best guess because I do have like information, top secret information. All right, do you guys want me to leak stuff? Let's go. Let's leak stuff. I think next patch is gonna be amazing. Here you go. Those were my leaks. Those were my leaks. Last 5 days he played Primalist. Primalist meta. Oh, that is kind of funny. I kind of have a little story about this, but I can't really talk about it. That kind of sucks, but I do have a funny story, including some last Epoch devs about this. Okay, so here your last point really does not matter that much. You can go health, you can go like attunement strength for armor and a little bit more damage. Really doesn't matter that much. Doesn't matter that much. Here, we're gonna go into the armor, like I said before. This area is also pretty dangerous. You might want to stay into Spriggan form to get the healing from your totems and stuff. Yeah, the desert area is no joke. Revives and rage at half health. And rage is also pretty dangerous, guys. Another summon thorn totem, okay. Another one. With poison res, okay. This is massive, massive, massive poison res. Extremely important in this area. Right, so now we're at 63 poison res. I feel much safer. Boom, we grab the point here. We replaced our helm, so we're gonna put the next point here as well. I feel so much safer now with all this poison res. One trick against this guy, he spawns a lot of traps. If you keep moving around, you are just going to walk into his traps and have a really bad time getting poisoned. So the good thing about this build is you don't have to move to deal damage. You can just spam your totems and he's gone. As soon as he dies, all of the traps disappear.
Buried in the slums.
So here we have our summon Spriggan, so we're gonna put him on the bar as well. We got summon Spriggan. We want him out immediately because he also has an aura that will heal you as well. Aura that restores 10 health every second. It's just some extra healing on top of everything else, on top of your regen, on top of your healing totems. And then you'll get a second Spriggan here as well. And then when you spec into Spriggan, of course you rush the base crit chance and the spell damage. But then you'll want to go into more rejuvenating wind, aura of healing, and then also the dodge per attunement when you summon him. You can also snapshot this Spriggan. Snapshotting in last Epoch is a thing that minions, when they are summoned with the gear that you have at the moment. And so you can equip some gear for their stats and then change that gear to have, you know, more defensive gear for you. So you can have like basically 2 sets of gear if you want to. One for your Spriggan and one for yourself. So if you go like full attunement, for example, that Spriggan can give you a load of flat dodge rating. And you can of course make him more, you can make him survive way more by giving him health, minion regen, minion dodge, all these type of stats. Okay, maybe I forgot to do this here. Because these keep summoning monsters over and over. I should just focus. Use your A key on your keyboard to focus the enemies that summon other enemies, right? Which one is it here, though? Okay, they're gone. Passives, we're gonna go here. Minion attack and cast speed, right? That counts for your totems because in last Epoch, totems are minions. This guy, if you don't have a lot of Fizz res, he hurts quite a bit. Now, like, because my Fizz res is very high, and I have quite a bit of health, I mean, I'm very, very safe. So I can pretty much face tank everything here. Then as you can see, my healing totems just pop me back up to full pretty much instantly. Pretty much instantly. Don't want to see this. So I guess we can get this. And we can get even more levels of summon thorn totems here. Oh, let's grab this. Don't forget, talk to this NPC.
Take the courage of a Ruby Nagasa. I didn't expect it.
The number one comment on the video, loot filter. Can I play this build without snapshot? I will have the loot filter linked down below. And can you play this without snapshot? I am not snapshotting at the moment. So I will not snapshot in this run. I will not snapshot. Top 1 ballista. Who is covering Sentinel stuff? Mostly Volca. Yeah, mostly Volca. Okay, another level. We are working towards getting armor shred, so that's where we're gonna go. Few totems, few vines, few totems, boom boom. Okay, now that we got our 3 points, I grabbed the 3 points for the minion attack and cast speed, but also for the movement speed while in Spriggan form. Since movement speed is the very best stat in the entire game, you definitely don't want to ignore those stats, you know. It is not only offensive, like, for efficiency, but also very defensive, since it enables you to, like, move faster out of the way, right? The more movement speed you have, the better, like, you need to have a worse... You don't need as good of a reaction time to be able to move out of the way of any attack. This guy also can be pretty rough if you don't have a lot of, you know, if you did not build defensively before. That guy could be pretty rough. Okay, so turquoise rings, very, very good. Minion damage, minion crit multi. You might want to keep some of these as well. Minion melee and spell damage. We're gonna grab this shard and possibly spam it on here. Little upgrade. Base minion crit chance. I prefer keeping the massive poison res because this area is very, very rough with poison res. Yeah, we can keep this.
Hidden so close. A word of advice. Don't ask her about the diamond matrons. You'll regret it.
Alright, so if you are speedrunning, this is pretty much the point where you would enter Monolith. Although, actually, this might change at the next season, since they are introducing more ways of getting passive points and idle rewards. When, like, the first time that you do every dungeon, basically. So you will have... I'm not exactly sure of all the details, but, like, you will have passive points and idle rewards when you complete dungeons.
May I share a smile upon you? Greetings.
So we talked to these 2 NPCs, and then we're gonna go do the Shining Cove quest. You want enough passive to have every skill? Not very possible. Oh, actually, we have this thing here. Nemesis. So what did we get? We got endurance threshold. Okay, not that crazy, but we're gonna empower this guy. We are going to empower this guy. Okay, next point that you'll get is gonna be attunement and penetration. Now we're gonna try to get some damage, right? Try to get some damage. So we're very, very close to being able to get this node in Storm Totem, which can consume up to 5 totems to give Storm Totem up to 100% more damage. We can easily get 5 totems since we have our Thorn Totems and we also have all of our healing totems in Spriggan form. Then after getting that node, we're going to go to the node where we are trying to make the node which makes Storm Totem use Gathering Storm. Then we'll be able to leverage one node that consumes mana when you use Gathering Storm. But because when we're in Spriggan form, we have infinite mana, Rage counts as mana for this, we are able to just sustain that node forever and get a lot of damage out of it. So that will let you build into... that will let you build mana as a more multiplier of damage. Okay. Now I just went here to unlock the Temporal Sanctum, get my quest. Because the Temporal Sanctum is where you're gonna go to skip most of the campaign once you are done here. Like, as soon as you find a Temporal Sanctum key and you feel like you're strong enough, you should go to Chapter 9, grab your faction, whether it is COF or Merchant Guild, and start accumulating favor for that faction. Here, we're going for more armor. In here, again, attunement, penetration. Attunement will give increased damage to Thorn Totem, flat damage to Storm Totem. Also increase because it's going to give... well, it's increased damage for Storm Totem. And it's going to give flat damage to Gathering Storm. So you're increasing a lot of the things scale with attunement. All of your skills. Plus it also gives you mana. Yep, we will have Mastery Respec in Season 2. Yeah. This is movement speed boots. Wait, this is minion damage? Unfortunately, we didn't get it. Okay, this area, pretty difficult. If you're scared a little bit, just you know, stay in Spriggan form. We got this. Now we unlock Thunder Totem. Thunder Totem becomes a huge totem like this. And does way more damage than regular Storm Totems. Plated belt, extremely good. And has armor. Again, don't neglect item bases. Armor, you see, I have like 39% already. Damage reduction from my armor. When I'm not in Spriggan form, only 28, right? This is not a big factor that makes Spriggan form, this node here, so good. That you know, you get this so early, and armor is just so much more effective in lower area levels. That the DR that you get from it is very noticeable. Very, very noticeable. Any downside to Thunder Totem? No. No. No, I mean, it consumes 5 of your other totems, though. I wonder if a triple Spriggan build, just all shooting thorns, could be a thing. You mean you and your two Spriggans? Not really, because like though they scale with minion damage and you don't. They don't have a lot of multipliers. I mean, this is here for increased health. Let's grab this. I mean, you can do it, right? But is it better than... It's not very good. But you can do it. But in comparison to everything else that's in game, it's like, it would be like C tier, basically. Well, like, can you still scale it and build it and get, you know, get good gear and do damage? And yes, but it will be less than most other things in the game. Can you still get to a ton of corruption? Of course, of course. Pretty much anything can do it. It's just like saying, like, would I want to play... I mean, when you've never experienced... I mean, I don't want to offend anything, but when... Don't want to offend anyone, okay? I'm just saying this out of thin air. But when you have not experienced a good build, you don't mind playing shit build, right? But once you go and play a good build, I mean, it's very hard to go back. You kind of want to find stuff that are good afterwards. But don't let me tell you how to play the game. You basically have very much bad gear, huh? Bad builds are the best. I don't know. Maybe I'm messing up. Maybe you were using some super secret tech that I don't know about. Alright, so usually a leveling build you kind of use up until about maybe level 50. And then at level 50 you have all of your skills unlocked. And then you can pretty much decide, you know, do I want to keep playing this leveling build a little bit further? Or do I want to respec into a build now that I have all of my skills and I'm in Monolith, right? Yeah, exactly. Don't, you know, playing meme builds is totally fine. Don't let me tell you how to play the game. Having fun is the most important part. Just my fun is playing something that is I mean, sometimes I do play some bad builds for sure. You know, for fun. Would I blast with those? Would I, you know, try to get super high corruption and invest a lot of gear and time and resources in them? Probably not, but like sometimes I do, just for the fun of it. How many Giga Chads versus decent builds could be out there? Giga Chads being ultra OP, complete all content and beyond, and decent completing Uber Aberoth. Well, all content means Uber Aberoth now, right? If the build cannot do Uber Aberoth, it needs to excel in like, maybe depends how hard Uber Aberoth actually is, but like maybe it's the dawn of the age in last Epoch where people was super specialized into bossing builds and super specialized into mapping builds. But the problem with this is that in last Epoch, you're always bossing. You're never only mapping. There's always the timeline boss, you know, there's always something. So you kind of have to be good at both. You can play Acid Flask now? I mean, there has been some Acid Flask builds that were really good, actually, digital. Just procced off of, just not manual cast Acid Flask. Depends on the game, you like good gear, but if it trivializes all content, then you're not interested. Best example in D4, you'll never play a build that kills tier 4 bosses fast. I have not played Diablo 4 since season 2, I believe. I played like one day of season 2, I think, and then I just quit the branch. I could not do it. Okay, more points, more armor. More points here, more pen. Right, so far, really smooth leveling. This is the worst leveling you can possibly have in last Epoch, guys. So, worst class of leveling. Again, this is just using Storm Totem, Thorn Totem, Spriggan Form, Healing Totems, Vines. Do I think Vengeance will be a viable build choice in the next patch? We need to wait for the patch notes. Highly doubt they will beat, like, you know, okay. What is the significant advantage of, I mean, Vengeance is already usable. You use it, you could play Vengeance with, like, Healing Hands, you know? Somewhat usable. Is it one of the best builds ever? No. Will it get better in the next patch? Probably, right? Probably. Sentinel patch. Will it be better than stuff like a classic like Rive or, you know, that would be the closest one in gameplay style that I would see, maybe. There is this they revealed a node in multi-strike that sounds like it's oh, one sec. Auto. Okay, sorry for the phone call. Do I think, you know, it's gonna compete with Rive, multi-strike, which they revealed a node for single target now. Is it gonna be better? I don't think it's gonna deal more damage. Vengeance has the upside of having a lot of DR in it, like while you're waiting to repose and stuff like that, so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be, you know, Vengeance, the new staple build of the patch. That probably won't happen. Alright, more penetration. Loot lizard. Again, I am not gonna kill it because, yeah, I just don't want to have too much RNG in my run. So the next point here, and then we're gonna go for the armor shred. Well, on Paladin, on Sentinel, Shadow, you don't have to do all these kind of things to reach 100% block chance. Guys, next patch, 100% block chance is basically day one. You grab any shield with tier 7 anything, Rune of Havoc into block chance tier 7, guarantee the LP to slam on your shield, and boom. You have a godly shield, and you have a 100% block chance. Then you can mess around with whatever you want with block, right? Block is OP. Absolutely OP stat. Like, if you want to have a good time in higher corruption and get tanky, like, block is amazing at that. In before, they nerfed it before launch. We have been hinting at block being overpowered for 5 years now. You can find a forum post by Lizard, 5 years old, saying block is OP. You know, like, it just is. I maybe next patch, but I don't think they have much of a problem with block. Because it's not oppressive in a sense where, like, you cannot showcase... No, actually you could. You could showcase, a block character that maybe is almost immortal or something. But, it's much easier to react to something that's... Oh my god, this is one-shotting Abra. Okay, we need to take a look into this. But for just people who just blast 1,000 corruption and never die, you know, that's just normal walk... That's just normal gameplay, basically. Much harder to be like, okay, we really need to work on block now. Surely block doesn't get buffed in Season 2. Surely. So we're gonna finish our penetration and attunement here. Penetration is another source, is another multiplier, essentially. Bina said it first, block buffed in season 2. Hey, if you see me using a shield, you know, I don't know. You know, on that crow build, I was using a shield, guys. What the hell? Bina with a shield? What is going on? Yeah, so this is what I like the best about totems is you're not really interacting with the monsters. You let your totems and your minions interact with them. Boom. Okay, before here we have a boss fight. So this I am gonna risk it, I think. I'm gonna risk grabbing some. Oh, I actually can't. Yes, I'm gonna keep this then. Here we have this health regen. Let's not use this. What am I missing? I am missing some necrotic res. What am I having here? I also barely have any void res either. Something's up with this, no? Void res? Okay, now I have some void res. Necrotic res is missing though. Necrotic res is missing. This is increased health. Movement speed is nice too. I mean, maybe eventually I find some idols, you know? Maybe some idols can help me.
You should have seen that.
I've heard of your power. Let's see how you face this. Who are
I'm gonna go closer to this guy. So, yeah, pretty easy. Pretty easy. We got one more point. Max this one out. But eventually, I want to reach the node that gives.
I recognize these mountains.
I want to reach a node that gives us a lot of resistances per totems, so that we can ignore physical res completely. Okay, we've unlocked the specialization slot. So the next spec is Summon Spriggan. Again, we're going for the base crit chance here. So that in combination with certain idols is gonna make it so that we can reach 100% crit chance quite easily for our totems. Here you do have a couple of options. You can go for shared damage. You could go for oops. I'm getting blasted. You go for share damage. You can go for armor with an active totem, which is, I think, what I'm gonna be going for. Yeah, armor with an active totem. Then you can get. I like grabbing all of this one because, like, you know, armor early on, very, very powerful, and also for the late game, armor is also powerful. You can notice the difference very easily between a build that has 2 or 3k armor and a build that has 5, 6, 7, 8k armor. The damage of the difference in damage you take from hits is absolutely crazy. Like the bare minimum any build should even have is like the bare minimum should be like, I want to say like 3 to 4K maybe. Bare minimum. Like if you have less than that, like good luck, man. Good luck. The aura of both Spriggans do stack. Not for the base crit chance, though. Not for the base crit chance, right? They stack for the healing. The healing aura stacks. How can you check if your totems already have 100% crit chance? You have to calculate it. There's no like tooltip that tells you, okay, my Torn totem has 100% crit chance. But if you follow my planners always have the correct amount to get the cap. So if you build properly, like if you're following a guide, just follow the guide. If you are doing it yourself, then you have to calculate it. Yes, I am still recording, Misha. I'm still recording. You made a song for me? Is that with the same website that than the Judgment song? $2:45 shower speedrun, holy. Each of the 5 classes, what is the best leveling skill? Just a quick, straightforward recap. Okay, this is subjective, right? So for leveling portion, which for me I consider between level 1 and 50, I think for Primalist that is going to be going on Shaman with Storm Totem. On Sentinel, that is going to be Holy Trail, Javelin with Judgment when you get it. On Warlock, well, on Acolyte, that is going to be going on Warlock. And pretty much anything with Chthonic Fissure. I have never leveled a Warlock, so I can't really talk about my experience there. But people seem to say that it is like, yeah, absolute chef's kiss experience. On the... What other class were we missing? On Mage, Spellblade, Shatter Strike, Spellblade. And then on... So we talked about... On Rogue, it is going to be Falconer, Shadow Daggers. I think that's pretty much it. Those are most likely the best leveling builds you can do. Like the easiest, more like the smoothest leveling builds. Doesn't necessarily mean that they are the most damage at that specific time. But they are extremely smooth to level and they just progress so easily. Send me on Discord? Okay. So, this is the... Okay, we finally found this guy. So, okay, he only upgraded this up to tier 4. He got us an Exalted Relic here. So, see, like... some of these can be absolutely crazy, right? I'm just gonna kill it, but... I'm gonna kill it, but I'm not gonna use any of the items that he drops. Here, we're gonna go for more armor. As you can see, we're already at 1500 armor, 43% damage reduction from Fizz when we take a hit. Will help us greatly. But Ignite, Spreading Flame, Fireball, Rune Master is better for 0 gear leveling. Is it? I'll have to try it out, Rody. I feel like Shadow Strike just has so... Like, it has amazing tankiness for the early game, and it has amazing damage. I guess Spreading Flame can be quite amazing too for clear. Okay, so here we gotta grab this guy. How come I don't go straight to middle after Majelka? That would be the speed running strategy. I am trying to showcase just like a regular, you know, chill, unlock all passive and idols, and then go to monos. What I recommend like 99% of people to do. So these guys, him, you gotta be very wary of his, there is the Patriarch and there is the Matriarch, right? You gotta be very, very careful of his Avalanche. Alright. So I strongly recommend having cold res like close to cap and physical res close to cap here. Okay, this is actually pretty good. Isn't it? Minion damage, attunement. Still 136 armor. We got some poison res, some vitality. This is gonna be pretty good. Maybe some health here. Increased health. Take the horn, and then don't forget to go grab, to go finish the quest here. Here, we finally have all of the base crit chance and crit avoidance. So the next points we're going to go for are going to be the, flat spell damage. Are you sure this is the worst class? This build is OP? Yeah, like Snap says, there are better leveling specs on every other class. But this is good, but it's the worst, right? But people like saying that it's completely utter garbage. That leveling a Primalist is the worst thing ever. I mean, it is the worst. It is the worst, but I feel like this is pretty smooth. I am the last warrior. Like when you think about it, right? Rogue just go at lightning fast speeds. with insane damage. Sentinel is immortal with good damage. Mage, arguably, I'd say, I don't know, maybe Mage, but Mage has insane damage as well, you know. Shadow Strike is just amazing, and it has amazing tankiness as well for the early game. So, I'd say that it's better than this. What else? What else is there? And then you got the Warlock. I mean, Warlock is just basically put your Fisher down and you win the game. So leveling in LE is like pizza. Even when it's bad, even if it's bad, it's still pretty good. I guess. I don't know, man. Because if you don't make the right choices, if you don't level with this, I think you can have a pretty bad experience. If you try leveling with swipe, with, you know, I don't know, like, so, it's easy to make a wrong turn, you know? It's easy to get lost on Primalist. Very easy to get lost. You know? You order a pizza and you end up with a club sandwich. Maybe that's not what you wanted, you know? Why aren't you... I will be skipping the majority of the campaign and going to monos. This is the last area that you do. Usually would take you about 2 hours to do. More or less, depending on how familiar you are with the game. And then this enables you to unlock everything except for one passive point, which you will get anyways once you go and kill Majasa for that one extra attribute. How do you know if that build you're trying to set is bad spec versus you spec well, but mechanically just doesn't cut it? It depends. What are your options for scaling, right? You know, you reach a certain point where you're like, okay, this doesn't feel good, and my only other avenues for scaling this would be getting a little bit more of this multiplier, a little bit more of that multiplier, but nothing really game-changing. So then you know, okay, even if I increase my damage, even if I double my damage, it's still going to be absolutely not enough for, you know, not enough to enjoy a build like this. So you just know, okay, this is bad. One thing though, that some people might think that some builds are bad when realistically they are not bad, is that some builds have access to a lot of multipliers. They are just gated behind getting much better gear, maybe a lot of plus level to skills, maybe you know, certain very specific things that you must have to get access to those multipliers. And people abandon before reaching the point where the build feels good. So the two things exist. Some builds perform very, very well in the early game, but will just not scale that well. And some builds are just very bad early on, but in the end game will just scale dramatically, right? And how do you know? You just, it's knowledge. You just need to know. Either you spreadsheet the numbers, either you're pretty good at having a good feeling about it, or, you know, I don't know. The only real way to do it is spreadsheeting. You know, you put the numbers in, boom, this is good, this is bad. Like the total, like the some things that are much harder to like think about is like, okay, say for a tornado build, if I want to do Stormbolt, Tornado, and then how long does my tornado cast? How many gathering storms? How many storm bolts does it do? How much does this last longer? What is the duration of tornado? Oh, we don't have this information anywhere in the game. Okay, let's go take a look at websites. Oh, there's no. Okay, then I have to time my tornado. Like, you know, there's so many aspects that you have to think about. That if you don't have the experience of playing it, it's hard to know. But you can always spreadsheet. Eventually, we might have a, you know, somewhere a resource where we can have damage calculations and something like a path of building for last epoch. But right now, that is not the case. So the only people who can actually accurately do this is the ones that can do it manually by spreadsheeting or have access to some tools. I don't know, maybe someone has a POB for LD and, you know, they just keep it for themselves. Yeah, it is what it is. We need someone to invest time and, you know, mainly time and their knowledge of how to code something like this to make a, you know, last epoch builder. A last epoch calculator of some sort. Alright, so here I talked to the small NPC. He's gonna come and help you kill this last boss. This is the last boss that you will kill in the story, and then the story is done. It is not finished, so if you have never completed the story before, I heavily suggest just trying it out. You know, just play the game. You can only experience the story once, right? Well, not true, but you only get to play the game for the first time once. So yes, I do want you to go and die on Lagon. That is the classic experience for any player. You know, you have to go and play the story until Lagon and die on Lagon and then die on Majasa, and you know, classic experience. But for those of you that don't want to continue through the story, after this point, you will have unlocked all of the passive and idols that you need to have a good time in the early monoliths. Okay. Might try to spreadsheet next time. Yeah, maybe just theorize. Okay, I could maybe get this amount of increased damage. I get these multipliers. I have this amount of base damage. Maybe I have, you know, 10 tornadoes out that cast, like, you know, 2 gathering storms per second or something like that. Like, just put out some numbers, right? So this guy, don't go close to him. He does these big attacks when you are close that hurt quite a bit. Some of them can even one-shot you. Well, maybe not with my stats, but depending on how many resistances you have and your armor and everything. So we're just going to cap out the armor, and here we're going to go for the spell damage, and then we're going to go for the dodge rating per attunement. Lighting necrotic. Necrotic res is important, and I don't really need... Where are these gloves? Okay. Minion damage, parry chance. Yeah, nothing crazy here. Okay.
We have the... tell me more. The Emperor on our journey.
You have the programming skills, but don't know LE well enough to take on that kind of project. I would love to actually do it. I would really love to do it, but I would have to learn coding from the ground up.
I know things of all that is left is to take the lance and bless it.
Have I ever played Lich? I have played Lich in the past. Okay, so you talk to these guys, and then you have 8 out of 8 idle slot rewards and 14 out of 15 passive points. If you don't have this, go check your, you know, your quest that you have not completed. There might be an NPC you didn't talk to or something like this. You should have 8 out of 8, 14 out of 15. At this point, this is where I recommend you to go into monoliths. So I took my time. I'm level 39. The first monos are going to be level 56, 58. 58. Don't worry too much about it. It doesn't really mean anything. It just, you know, monsters penetrates 58% of your res. So it's more and more important to cap your res at 75. And yeah. So we're going to still go and clear at least the first maybe 1 or 2 monos to show the show a bit further the progression of the build.
Hey there.
Because like this is not the end of the leveling, right? We don't even have all of our skills and specs unlocked. So this is the time where if you need something, I heavily suggest going to the gambler and looking at the pieces of the gear that you can get. Like if you don't have a armor belt, you know, you can get an armor belt here. Actually, let me just gamble this one. If you don't have resistances, or if you want a minion, you know, a minion ring with minion damage and minion crit multiplier, these can go up to 35% crit multi for minions, and that is absolutely massive. So this belt, this ring here, I think I'm just gonna use it, right? It has 31 minion damage, 31 crit multi. It's just amazing. Amazing ring. Necrotic res, boom, we're gonna craft this. I'm gonna try to get something else, maybe health. Health is good. No, I can't. Maybe I use this one too. Although movement speed is good. Movement speed is also good. Depends what you need, right? It does depend on what you need.
Not bad.
Maybe we grab another pair of boots. Nah, actually, there's nothing much. So you see this one, 6%. Probably won't use it. I can refresh here, maybe. You can also get some amulets for this. Minion damage and minion critical strike chance. That increased critical strike chance for your minions is going to be extremely good because you get a lot of base crit chance from your Spriggan. That's going to increase your damage quite significantly.
Don't worry.
Okay, 35% with nothing on it. Let's see what I have available here. This lowers a little bit my physical res. My fire, lightning, cold, and fizz is going to be covered by this node eventually. My fizz is already covered, but maybe for now I still need some physical res. So let's go for fizz res. And that's going to be good enough for now.
These items might be your best bet.
Also, if you need shards, you can buy Runes of Shattering. They cost 2,000 each. Yeah, let's sell some of these things. What? I only have 380. This is worth nothing. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't have any gold. I don't have any gold, but you probably have some gold because you've killed some lizards and whatnot, right? So here, you go there. Monolith of Fate. What key did I hit to pull that up? Which one? This? The forge is F. For crafting, it's F. Am I minion? Yes, because totems are minions. All totems are minions. Like there's no like totem subtype really. Well, there is, but they are considered minions. So what I'm kind of looking for here is a bigger upgrade for my weapon to get more minion spell damage. I would love to get both of these to tier 5. That would be a huge upgrade. I want to fill up my idol slots. So if I find any shrine that have idols, or if I find any rewards on my monolith web that have idol slot rewards, I'll go for this. But other than that, keeping a pretty good health pool, a decent amount of resistances, right? So when I am transformed like this, boom, boom, I'm capped here, 63 fizz, 67, 23, 0. Void needs to increase. So I absolutely need to get some void res somewhere. I might have some of them here. Or not. But this is what you do. So if you want to take the time to kill the monsters, right, you can certainly do so. Instead of just rushing the objective. There are certain monsters that are quite difficult. Very early monos, you'll find a lot of gear that will help you. Okay, these actually can be annoying. There are sometimes maps that just have an insane amount of rare enemies, and each rare enemy drop a rare item. So if you have those, melee crit multi-wall transform, don't need this. So the rule I have in the filter, the green items are going to be better than the blue items most of the time. But you can definitely look for... Okay, that's a very good base. Okay, minion spell damage. I don't think I have... Yeah, okay, I have this now. Trying to extract the shard. We got it. I'm gonna try to craft on this. Minion melee and spell damage. Let's try this. Boom, boom. Okay, that means that this should be better than this. If I can extract a shard and craft this. Now, this is somewhat better, right? We got 11 and 10, so we got 21 flat damage. Eventually, at level 58, Bone Amulet can be incredibly good for physical and necrotic res. It's a very, very good early amulet. But yeah, that's pretty much like the entire playstyle of the build. And this is how I would recommend anyone level a Primalist in the future. With Mastery Respec incoming. Summon Raptor minion damage. I guess this amulet might be better than one I have. Frailty on hit. We could grab this. We could grab this. Let's try and change this cold res. Let's chaos this to something else. LA res we don't need. Poison is pretty good. Poison is pretty good. Okay. So now I have another source of frailty. Frailty is not very easily available on minion builds because they usually don't have like minion chance to apply frailty on hit. So if I want to apply frailty, which is a insane defensive debuff on enemies, which make them deal less damage, then I will have to use Spirit Thorns a little bit. You cannot set the Storm Totem while transformed, except if you have the relic for it. There's a specific relic that drops from Lagon that lets you proc Storm Totem based on any hit that you do. So you have to transform back if you want to do that. Until you get the relic. But yeah. There must be one here that gives other monster less damage taken. There's a specific modifier on certain on rares that can spawn, which gives damage reduction to nearby you know, enemies or rather allies, but for them it's gonna be your enemies, right? Nearby allies take much less damage. Exactly that. So sometimes it can be like, hey, why am I not killing these guys? Why are these guys not dying? You know. But if you've geared up a little bit, you should not really have any problems in this first monolith. I mean, you should really not have any problems at all. Okay, we got spell damage for totems. That can be very, very good. We are going to... Wasn't able to get it. Maybe?
Yes.
I'm gonna craft this on our body armor. Boom. Spell damage for totems. We got 9 spell damage. Pretty good. There are other totem affixes. Totem affixes are more specific exactly for totems. So the rolls on them are pretty high. Stuff like totem, increased critical strike chance for totem, for example. If you can get even tier 1 of that is a pretty massive. That is a pretty massive affix to get. Not good enough implicits. No, I would do Frost with Warden Kill and then start monos and then do factions when you get a Temporal Sanctum key. You should find a key pretty early. And anyways, you don't want to find it too early and, like, you know, not have damage to be able to kill it. Oh, physical necrotic. I kind of like this. Kind of like this. Increase being and lightning damage, 45%. I think I'd still rather have my flat damage. More armor. Already at 44% mitigation here. Wait, what day are we today? Okay, Thursday. Okay. Okay, nothing good here. More Armor Shred. Armor Shred is an insane multiplier and you need it on any hit build. Basically, it's as easy as that. Absolutely insane multiplier and you need Armor Shred. So here you have a couple of options. You could go for more totem healing, or you can go for the second Spriggan. I prefer going for the second Spriggan. You also get a good amount of ward when you transform. Second Spriggan will also give you a second aura, which will heal you even more per second, right? And here we just go for... I go for 7 points here, and then I will go for the 5 points in here. Actually, I put two extra points here. I should have put 2 points here and then the rest of the points in there. So yeah, that's something you should change. So 5 points into the armor, 2 points into the lightning one. 5 points here, 2 points there. And then you're gonna unlock this node here for increased totem cast speed and haste chance. So now you're gonna get haste whenever you summon a totem. Eventually you can guarantee it with idols as well. But basically that makes you have a permanent haste, which is just very nice on... It's, you know, movement speed. Again, best side of the game. You must have it. Minion spell damage, which is good. You know what? I might change something in the filter. Maybe the blue gear and the green gear, whatever is offensive, I put it as caps, and defensive is not capitalized. That belt is pretty good. This belt can give you a lot of poison res and cold res if that is what you need. For me right now, I don't really need it, but... Okay, after this, I am going to go for the Aura of Healing. You can also go for your minion survivability and just max out this point. Yeah, that is up to you. If you feel like your minion is dying too much, you know, feel free to do so. So here, not, you know, sometimes I might be using Storm Totem against certain enemies. Certainly when I fight a boss like this, well, the boss. The target enemy at the end of the mono, of the echo. But for the most part, I will stay in Spriggan form and basically just walk. Okay, this might be good. Walk in Spriggan form, kill stuff with Thorn Totems. Yeah, this is good. Strength, armor, void. Okay, this is good. Right. This is really good, actually. I needed this void res. We're gonna grab this. Move and speed, best stat. Boom. We got an upgrade. This is something else that I want to see. How do you keep the Spriggan alive in higher corruption? They're dying a lot. So you have a couple of options. One of the options is building some minion health and minion dodge on your gear. You can also give them some minion regen, but you don't really need it because they're gonna get healed by your totems anyways. That is one of the options, but you're sacrificing prefixes for this, right? You can also summon them with some idols as well. Second option is using snapshotting. Your minions are summoned with the stats you have equipped at the moment. So you maybe just have, I don't know, 2 Jilwa rings with like a slam of minion health on them. Or you have like anything, really, right? Anything with minion health and minion health regen. Or minion dodge. Minion dodge is really, really good. And you equip those, summon it, you rechange to your regular set of gear, and you continue on with your life, you know? Yeah, the car spreadsheet is pretty good. I have used it quite a few times. But it's more for... I use his spreadsheet for like... when I really, really want to min-max completely something, you know? And go into a lot of details, and I've added a bunch of things to it to my liking, but yeah. Very good spreadsheet. As for the boar effect, Titan Heart, that is very tempting, but I said I was not going to use any uniques. That is so tempting. That would give me damage reduction. That would give me a bunch of health as well. Because even if you're using a two-handed staff, it is considered a melee weapon, right? So two-handed melee weapon would count for Titan Heart. Now what I'm really looking to get is either a shrine with idols or a idol reward. Because my idol slots are all empty right now. If the minion dies, you have to re-snapshot him. Yeah. You lose the snapshot. But if you snapshot him, he should never die. Like, actually never. Like, yeah. And then you can even make this into something else, right? You could make this into a game where, you know, you're min-maxing 2 sets of gear. And you get a Giga freaking minion. And you are Giga as well. It just... a lot of the times people don't really like it because, you know, it's... they can feel that it's tedious. Oh, wait. No, in the next patch, you definitely want to see all Exalteds. Yeah. In the next patch, you just have to see all Exalteds. Because the Rune of Havoc exists. Yeah, I guess there's no way around it. You must show all Exalteds. For the generic filter. But what if there's an insane Exalted on a really good base and you're just hiding it? Okay, so the 2 points are these 2 points here. Oh, cast speed for totems. That's really good. So here, if you see any idols, you could go and grab them. Relics, experience. I'll go experience. COF and you show all tier 7 affixes. You're gonna have to eventually. And then I guess you can, you know, if you get to that point, you can fine tune your filter how you want it. Exalted filtering, you're thinking. Show tier 7 selected affixes. Show any exalted selected affixes. Show any multi-exalteds. Yeah, but you want to see more because now you can change the exalted role to another role. Or you can change, you can switch, you can like craft any exalted stat you want, right? At tier 1. Then bring that exalted role onto it. You want +4 level of Storm Totem? You craft tier 1 and you get it to tier 7. Boom. Added minion melee crit. Okay, we got this. Boom, boom. Do you want to spend the rune on a single affix exalted item? Depending on the supply, you might want to save these to craft on multi-exalteds. They said that the supply will be about, like, Rune of Ascendances. So, I think early on, you don't care. Early on, you just use them on whatever, you know? Use them what you need early. The power spike is going to be so much bigger early than later. So if they are as common as Rune of Ascendance, you're gonna have a ton of them. I mean, you're gonna want to use them a lot. So, you know, maybe... Yeah, I said I was not gonna do this. You're gonna want to use them a lot, so maybe you won't... you know, maybe at some point you start saving them. Because if not, you'll always be like... You'll always have 0, but you can at least get to the point where you have like all your correct slots, all the exalted rolls that you want. Yeah. It's a very, very strong early investment. Yeah. And it doesn't really matter because like Rune of Ascendances are very common. So I'm guessing those are going to be very common as well. Okay, so at this point, we're starting to see a lot of loot when we enter monos. When we enter monos, we're starting to see a lot of loot here. Maybe I want to make this filter a little bit more strict, but probably not. Probably not. People need to see some loot, you know? You know, if it's blue, it's not that great. You know, if it's green, it's better. If it's like Rune of Ascendance, I spam down on rings to try to get red rings. I had more COF ring than runes anyways. Bottleneck was on runes. Like, especially early on, there are some uniques that are really, really good to try and get some from the Rune of Ascendance. Because there are certain items that have, like, you know, there's only a certain amount of uniques that can actually drop from, let's say, rings or boots or whatever else you're trying to get. Sometimes, like, 1 out of 5 chance to get the unique that you want, right? So, depending on the build that you are playing. Okay, so we got some new levels here. 47. I think I'm just gonna do maybe the first timeline and then be done with this guide. I think that's gonna show, you know, a pretty good amount of like what you are expected to do with Primalist, and how you can level a Primalist without feeling like you are doing really, really bad. Since everyone says that Primalist is like the worst leveling class. You know, if you want to chill time, just totems and chill, you know? So after this, there are a few places where you can go. You can go into base critical strike chance. You could go, because you are going to be, your last spec is going to be Gathering Storm. You're going to unlock this node as well eventually. Melee damage from your equipped axe or mace. And you might want to be dual wielding at some point or using an axe. Like Tempest Maw, for example, is really, really good for this build. But there's a couple of places where you could go with this. You could finish this multiplier. You go into the base crit and then go into the crit multi. You can go into getting movement speed if you want to go fast in your monos. You can go into getting spell damage per shock. So that is going to give you flat damage per shock. There's the Lagon shield that gives a lot of chance to shock attackers. Up to 430 if I'm not mistaken. That can give you an insane amount of flat damage for your Storm Totem. Then you can also go into hit damage against shocked enemies. Many options available. I will decide to go here. Base crit chance. Base crit chance, since if you are using stuff like, you know, minion critical strike chance, if you get some totem critical strike chance on your idols, then also having the rings for crit multi, then you're leveraging those stats by going into more base crit chance, getting the base crit chance here as well, getting you closer to 100% crit chance. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for the second Spriggan here, and then I'm going to go for, since we're done with all of these, we're going to go for the health. I'm going to maximize the health, and then maximize the armor and Phys Res. Okay, so here, any idols? No, not really. So we have one more. We're gonna go for Affix Shards. Affix Shards very early, or Glyphs are very good. Arguably, I think they're better than items early on your first, you know, 1, 2, 3 monos. Because you're guaranteed to get something, at least, like, somewhat good for you. And on your first character that you want, like, this is only good for the very first character you do of the season. But, you know, that's going to give you a lot of benefits. Enabling you to craft more. And crafting is so powerful early that, you know, it's just, well, this is where you're going to be able to benefit the most out of it. Because later down the line, I mean, crafting is powerful, but you will mostly find items you'll be looking at finding good exalted items and then crafting on them. Whereas right now, you can basically craft an item almost from the ground up. Oh, this is where you're going to be spending most of your shards. And since you're replacing items quite often... then you're going to be using a lot of those shards very, very early. Yeah, auto targeting is good. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? All of these blue items, you know, you can look at them if you want. If you don't want to see them anymore, just unclick the rule, you know. These are the leveling campaign gear. I have this rule up until level 50. I am testing it right now. I'm not sure what I will end up doing for the actual filter that we have on launch. But, yeah, I think this is fine. This is fine. You still want to find stuff. This is really good, actually. What the hell? Really good. Think we'll see other classes skill buff tomorrow. Of course. We're going to see many balance change. Many balance change. Yeah, this is increased health. Grab this. Increase health. Let's grab this. This is increased health. You grab this. If you're tired of seeing increased health, you can always unclick it. But for now, I feel like this is really good. Health. Boom. Hoping for new Warlock uniques. How many uniques did they say they were going to be implementing in the patch? I think they said something like 30 something, no? We already know that Tornado is buffed, at least from an item, right? We get the Maelstrom Amulet that, you know what is surprising? What surprises me the most is that, I was looking at the Primalist Ellie Discord yesterday, and people were talking in that Discord and saying that the amulet was bad. That it was a bad item. Like, what? Because of the LPL that it has, it would be too hard to get. Because it's 85 LPL. 85 LPL, it's like very easy to obtain with 2 LP. And that is a farmable boss drop. So it's... I don't know. I don't know. Very good in my mind. Even in MG, like... For MG or COF, both are good, you know? Both are easy to obtain. Okay, bunch of these. Bunch of these idols. I mean, we're good. Okay, green items. Better than blue. Medium damage, void. Even the skill, well, the skill, the thing is that we are not using the skill itself to deal damage. We're using the sub-skill. Well, we're using Gathering Storm. We're using Storm Bolts. So the increase to Tornado's base effectiveness does not do anything to us. Well, to that specific build. About this, you are gonna play MG at the early stages. That is a very personal decision. If some of you guys want to play MG or COF, both are good. I personally have played COF, MG, strictly MG in the past, and I am now fully converted to COF. I think it's just a way better way to play, but you know, to each their own. If you want to trade, go MG. If you want to find loot easily and deterministically, yeah, go COF. I feel like the progression on COF is so good. Okay, last skill that we spec, as we said, Gathering Storm. We're gonna go for this node to get the repeat chance once we use it. We are also gonna go for this node for mana consumption, right? Another more multiplier. And well, since right now I do not have an axe, I don't really have to go for this node here right now. I could go for more damage here, which I think that is what I'm gonna do. Or I could go for penetration. 10%, eh. Yeah, let's go there. Since I already have some penetration, not quite sure if 8% more or 10% more, depending on how much I already have of penetration. Not sure which one's the best, but maybe 1 and 1 or something like that. Doesn't really matter. It's gonna be so short. I'm gonna put one more point in here. One unspent point here. Cool. And so now when I'm spamming this, right, I can regain all the rage and then make sure that my totems, which are casting Gathering Storm, they get all of the multiplier from it. So basically, you summon your Storm Totem, right? Transform, and then you spam your Thorn Totems, which will bring your rage up to maximum, and then because Storm Totem uses Gathering Storm now, it will use this node, Excited Bolt, which consumes a portion of your current mana, rage, to deal more damage per 10 current mana. So you are incentivized to have a lot of mana and keep it up at all times. So that's what you're gonna do with Spriggan Form. Spriggan Form, casting 3 totems at once, regaining a lot of mana. You can put another 4th point in here if you want. And yeah, it's gonna be really easy to sustain your mana, even if you have 5, 6, 7, 1000 mana, whatever. And that after this, you know, you can continue on this build if you want. Now that you're level 50, have access to all skills, or you can go ahead, if you're in Season 2, you'll have access to respec your mastery. You can respec from Shaman to Druid to Beastmaster. You can, you know, play anything else that you want. But I think this is a very, very good way to level. And if you want to continue on it, it even transitions into the end game very well. Yeah, which I think, for me, that's the best way to level Primalist. But again, if you want to test with some other builds, don't let me tell you how to play the game. Boom, boom, boom. Pretty smooth kill. Alright. Let's go for experience. Go for experience. Shall we do like one more mono, or should we end the video here? Okay, maybe I'll do one more mono. Dread Shade, no duration. You can finally play Wraith Lord. Let's do one more mono. Can Necro minions be S tier in the endgame with high corruption or no? They would not be S tier in general, I'd say. Because they're sort of slow. But can they push high corruption? Yes. If you take into account everything about a build, I don't think it's S tier. A good A tier. It can have S tier damage if you play like Abomination or something, and you snapshot like crazy. But yeah, is it an S tier build overall? Farming, comfy, like, is it comfy? Can you farm fast? Like, does it do a lot of damage? Is it tanky? Like, all of the things all together, I do not think it's S tier. Right, I mean, S tier needs to be way above everything else, right? It needs to be, you know, some of the best builds you can possibly get in the game. A tier is still extremely solid, you know? Minion critical strike chance, very nice, very nice. Very nice. These are some of the idols that you will want to find. So already, increased minion critical strike chance. So that multiplies our base crit, which we already have quite a bit of. Now we don't need this anymore. Increased health is nice. Early res, we don't care. Boom. Can Necro minions push 1,000 corruption without being utter crap to play? I have not played them. Pretty sure they can. Yeah, 1,000 corruption is not very high. Yeah, they can certainly. They're just a bit slow. It's just a little bit slow. It's just a slower play style a little bit. You know, slower. Have to wait for your minions to kill stuff. You can't zoom. If you want to zoom, there's probably not the build. I mean, it depends which minion you're talking about as well. Kind of also depends which minion you're talking about. Void res is at 22. I definitely need to increase my void resistance. Maelstrom, spell damage, summon Stormcrows. Unfortunately, I'm not playing this. Okay, this is what I'm gonna be getting. Void res, boom. Minion damage. Okay, 56, not bad. Not bad, 56. Probably want a tiny bit more. As you can see, my gear, there is nothing special about the gear that I have. Really, absolutely nothing special. Early on, all you're trying to do is fix your weaknesses, and eventually you just find really good pieces. Try to keep a good health pool. Try to keep your resistances maxed out. Here, we've done this, we've done this. After you have all of these, we're gonna go into this because eventually you want to swap to an axe. I mean, I can actually show one arena maybe. Here in the Shaman tree, we're going for more haste. Yeah, well, this is a pretty good arena build, guys. I don't know. It was pretty good in the arena, no? I don't even see monsters. Barely even saw any monsters. Okay, so summon Thorn Totem. I heavily suggest going into the more mana gain here. You could also go for increased crit chances now that you have a lot of base crit with this little Spriggan. Getting the 200% increased crit chance here can let you cap your crit on Thorn Totem quite easily. Now that you have a few points in Armor Shred, that's going to help Storm Totem. Storm Totem, I am still going to go into more base crit chance because this one does not have as much. This one doesn't have access to like a lot of increased crit here. I'm just going to try to make it crit a little bit more. Once you have all of the points in here, I'd like to go into here and then go into the Pierce chance. So that's going to be easier to proc your Storm Totem once you get your Relic. Summon Spriggan, again, we're just going for the health and armor. Health first and then armor. Because we already have the spell damage, we already have the base crit avoidance, maxed out aura healing. This is not necessary. You can just put 3 points here if you want. But for extra, you know, extra tank, extra recovery, I like putting this here. Aura of evasion. And I don't even do this every time. It's how you feel, you know. Like there's no good or there's no bad choice here, basically. Gathering Storm. Once you have this multiplier, this one, and this one, then you want to go for these points here. And then afterwards, it's pretty much free for all. You don't really need anything else. You can go for more targeting area. Nothing much to grab afterwards. We got a 1 LP Vial of Volatile Ice. And then here, yeah, the next thing that we're gonna do, there's two options here, okay? If you do not have capped resistances with your totems, I heavily suggest capping your res first with these nodes, right? So now I'm capped. With the totems that I have out, I will be capped, but maybe not when I summon a totem, you know? I'm down to 72 and 67. So maybe I'll put like 2 or 3 points here, then I'll put some points into the shared spell damage. This guy got one-shotted by my Storm Totem. So I'll put a few more points in here. Protective Circle. Get more res with my totems out. Also make sure I'm capped res even with just one totem out, right? Or like very few totems. So like as you enter your first mono, you might feel a little bit weak. But that really kind of just changes as you progress. You get a little bit more levels. Everything just kind of like falls into place. Do you think Thorn Totem can kill Abby? Regular Aberoth, or are we talking Uber Aberoth here? We haven't seen Aberoth. We haven't seen Uber Aberoth, so... can this kill regular Aberoth? Of course. Of course. Like, easily. Day one. I mean, anything can kill regular Aberoth. Literally. Auto attack can kill regular Aberoth, no? You just build tankiness, like, you just build to be immortal. And that's it. No. Anything can kill regular Aberoth. You just build to have some recovery, and, you know, you're good. Regular Aberoth, anything. Literally, maybe, I mean, okay, maybe, I don't know. It would be pretty long with auto attack, but... Oh, we got this. Wait, didn't we have this, like, quite a while ago? Or was it... It's very nice. Very nice. Million crit multi. Okay, I will equip this. I will equip this. I lied. I will use one unique, okay? I have one unique. Your totem build use the shield crit of the erased? Is it gonna be a storm totem build or just a regular just a regular thorn totem? Because if you are using a shield and using Storm Totem, I heavily suggest using Lagon's shield for this node in particular, which gives you spell lightning damage per 10% chance to shock attackers. And it has like 400 and something chance to shock attackers. And shield can roll chance to shock attackers on top of that. And the next patch, we're also getting guaranteed 1 LP. So you get that one with 1 LP. And then you put chance to shock attackers on it. And then you're happy, you know. $300 corruption is really not much. It's really not much. I mean, of course, if you build 0 defense, I mean, you're gonna have a hard time. Like, the only build I can pull off going 0 defense is builds that have some sort of way to avoid damage. So, Rogue have Silver Shrouds. Silver Shrouds is basically infinite tankiness because you can dodge the hit, whether it is a 1 damage hit or a 1 million damage hit, you know? So, it's a skill-based playstyle. You can also build to just be almost invincible. That is a thing that certain builds can do. The difference in tankiness between builds in last Epoch is not balanced at all. That being said, it's still fine because it doesn't really show. It doesn't show that much, you know. Because a lot of people are pushing very high corruption with ZHP builds or very tanky builds, or, you know, build to have sort of like an average of both. Is Ward still broken? No, they are nerfing Ward next patch again. And they are buffing HP and they are buffing HP regen, and yeah, a lot of the meta is going to change, I feel. A lot of the meta is going to change. D2 Javazon like build. Yeah, some things just don't don't scale very well. The D2 like Javazon style is just worse than the spears, right? If you want to play Javelin, you know, it's better to play spears. You have your little brother in a very tanky build. He loves it. I mean, next patch, health regen. Maybe you can even do some like very, very nice, like just regen builds that just are invincible without even hitting anything, you know? Good AFK builds. Praetorian. And as you can see here, I don't really feel like I'm in any danger of dying at all. Of course, I'm only in the second Monolith, but this is pretty much the totem experience. You're just blasting through. Sometimes putting down a storm totem when you want more damage. Last points are going to go in here, because we're eventually going to use an axe. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I think I'm just gonna finish this timeline and then I'm gonna end the video. If I can't do motos while watching TV and eating at the same time, is it even a build? Is it even a build? Kind of want the better movement speed boots here. Okay, so I had a few more idols. Void Res idol. Okay, I like this. Don't need this. The one downside that you have in Spriggan form is that you do not have a movement ability. You can add the movement ability, but it's tied to a unique ring. So that slot is very contested. So now that we have a few points in here, let's put a third point. I'm going to go into the shared spell damage node. It's going to help us greatly. We have enough. Boom.
Greetings.
What brings you here?
Let your totems do the work.
Safe travels.
Yes.
And of course, you can go way faster than this. Like, if you... What I usually do is I barely look at gear.
Yes.
Just a bare minimum. Sometimes I die, but you know, this is softcore. But you can really just go pretty damn fast and just let your totems kill everything behind you. See how my totems grab all the aggro there? I am doing a 1.2 strat? What do you mean, Bunkai? Bunkai, how did you not find my Crow's video? Literally go into my YouTube channel, click video, and then it's there, no? It's literally there. It's like impossible to miss. More flat damage. Okay, we have more points to invest. Here we're maxed out. I'm gonna go into the crit chance here. Crit chance there. Increased totem healing, survivability. This is just like such a smooth build to play for leveling. Even though you are tempted to tank everything, try to just move away from the ground AoEs when you can see them, right? Oh. Yeah, I said try to move away from the ground AoEs, not stay in them. And that is how the second timeline goes. That is how the second timeline goes. Was that hard? I don't think so. This is the worst class to level with. Keep in mind, this is the worst class to level with. That's how easy it is. So this is my gear. I have tier 4 spell damage and tier 2 spell damage. The only two stats that matter, minion spell damage. I have tier 4 and tier 2. I got one idol for cast speed. One idol for increased crit. Everything else is like basically anything that I found. Just for resistances and whatnot. But even without anything of the like any of this, right? I am, of course, capped on all of these because it's totally free on Shaman. I have some poison, some necrotic, some void. Nothing crazy. I found a death rattle. You could definitely just use this thing here instead. It's the same base. You just lose out on the 38% minion crit multi. Same thing, basically. I got like void res on my belt, you know. some minion damage. 1 turquoise ring. Turquoise rings are really, really strong to increase your damage early on if you have a good minion crit multi on it roll. So this one has 31. You can gamble them. You can find them. Just look for them a little bit. 1 movement speed ring with, you know, attunement. A little, like, you know, tier 3, tier 2. Avarice. I can definitely get rid of this now because, yeah, I mean, I was using this for leveling because early on you're not a shaman and you want to cap your res even then. But yeah, this is basically doing nothing for me. Boots. You know, a little bit of strength, movement speed, void res, physical res, health. Try to keep a good health pool. These are my passives. We started here. Boom, boom, boom. Anyways, we started here like this. Then we went in here to unlock Spriggan form and summon Spriggan. Movement speed while we are in Spriggan form. And then we just went for some Shaman nodes. Chance to get haste with a totem. Spell lighting penetration. Easy stuff. If you have any questions, I am live pretty much every day on Twitch. Or you can write in the comments below as well. And that is it for Shaman leveling, guys. Hope you have a great time leveling the worst class to level in all of last Epoch. And I'll see you guys in the next video.